It's 6:01. I'd like to call this meeting to order. 6:01, I'd like to call this meeting to order. I know there's a lot of special things to celebrate tonight, so I appreciate those of us who are here for regular business and more ceremonial business. A lot of good things on the agenda tonight. So we're going to start by having the invocation led by Councilmember Roberto, and then the Pledge of Allegiance led by Vice Mayor Smith. Please rise as you're able.
We gathered together tonight, grateful for your blessings and your promise of every new day brings. While we reflect on our blessings, let us remember those who are in need and let your grace inspire us to reach out in compassion. Lead us to turn away from division and plant the seeds of your peace in each of us. Open our hearts and our hands to seek solutions together and give us the courage to find paths of collaboration, not separation. We ask you grant us wisdom, patience, and understanding in our deliberations tonight so that our actions may be worthy of your continued blessings. Amen.
Please face the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Johnson, would you please call roll?
Councilwoman Fugit. Councilwoman Helsley.
Here.
Councilwoman McKenzie. Councilwoman Parker.
Here.
Councilwoman Ryder. Here. Councilman Roberto.
Here.
Vice Mayor Smith.
Here.
Councilwoman Singh. And Councilman Thomas. Here. All members present, Mayor.
Okay. Is there a motion on the minutes from the last meeting?
Second.
Motion made to approve and seconded. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Are there any items to be withdrawn? Are there any items to be postponed? Are there any items to be added by motion? Okay. We have two memorials. Okay. Excuse me just a minute. Okay. Resolutions. Okay,
Yes.
memorials. Okay.
We need to change the
Yes, okay.
heading.
That's what confused me a little bit. Okay, resolutions 12F and 12G. So we'll start with resolution 12F.
12F is a resolution honoring Fred D. Tony Thompson II for over 29 years of effective service to the city as a legislative advocate, thanking him for those many years of successful service and congratulating him upon his retirement.
Second. Motion made to approve and seconded. Before we vote on this, which I looking forward to hearing council's vote, I want to see if Mr. Thompson wanted to come up and share a few words of wisdom. And one of our gifts to you tonight, in addition to this resolution honoring your many decades of service to the city of Knoxville, is we put you on the agenda first. So we're happy to do that. Please, if you could turn the microphone on. We have had, in the last 30 years, some technical improvements, hopefully. So, and you can also elevate it up. If you want, there's a button.
Actually, it should work fine.
It should work fine.
Here. Yeah.
So I know council members are so grateful for your many decades of service, and we just wanted to give you an opportunity to say a few words and share any wisdom you have to share with us.
Well, if you're in the state legislature, you might want to get out. That'd be the wisdom. No, thank you, Mayor. It's quite an honor for you all to bring this resolution forth, and I'm very grateful for that. I'll just say that it's been, one of the highlights of my career. Actually, I was thinking back. I started lobbying in 1995, and was with a law firm at the time, and they had a few clients that I registered for and began to learn how to do this line of work. And it was my second year, I believe, when Mayor Ash gave me a call and gave me a chance to come and represent the city. And I want to give a special thank you to him for that. But I'll just say that I've made a lot of friends and built a lot of relationships over the years through, I guess it's 5 mayors now, and I'm very grateful to each one of those mayors. I'll give a special mention of Tom Barlin. He was the law director when I first started. As you all know, he's the judge down the street and just entered senior status himself, I read about. But I just want to say, too, that Charles, you and your staff and your team, Ron Mills, everybody has been such a pleasure to work with over the years. And I've learned a lot about local government. Excuse me. I've always had an interest in politics and government, and that's where I landed, was doing the state level lobbying, and was able to do that for 31 years. And I don't know that I have any wisdom. You all will be in good hands going forward, but I'm just very grateful and very honored.
Well, thank you, Tony. I just wanted to share that I first worked with Tony when he was representing some school boards and working with the Knox County Board of Education, and we were partnering with other large area school systems across the state, and he represented either Memphis or Shelby County. Shelby County. And then I had the pleasure of working with you. And I want to give another shout out to, Fiona McAnally's here tonight. She recently retired from the city. Fiona, if you could raise your hand. She worked very closely with Tony during my tenure and also under Mayor Rogero, helping us navigate from the city's perspective, the rough, sometimes occasionally rough waters in the General Assembly. But I just want to say that you're a consummate professional. The issues evolve and sometimes change, but your professional demeanor, your relationships, your ability to work across the aisle with urban representatives, suburban representatives, rural representatives, and just sort of find that common ground. And even when we're playing defense or trying to, and we don't come out on the way that we prefer, you always give us hope that there's another path, or there's ways to move forward and make some changes as we can in future sessions. So that was what I valued most about your calm demeanor, experience, and I would sometimes, it would be new to me, but you'd be like, oh no, we've gone through this, it's going to be okay. And I think that council members had similar interactions with you as well. So we really appreciate your service and want to thank you for, and I know that I'm just your 5th mayor, so on behalf of previous councils, previous mayors, the last 30 plus years, we just want to thank you. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Charles. Thank you. Thank you all. It's been my honor.
I guess I'm sorry, there's been a motion and a second. I should have probably put the comments after that, but is there any further discussion by council? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Again, Tony, thank you so much. Fiona, thank you for your service and partnership with Tony, and enjoy your next adventures. Thank you. Next item, please.
12G is a resolution honoring and congratulating One Knox SC on winning the 2025 USL League One Championship.
Motion made to approve and seconded. Do we want to have a discussion now or vote first, council? Okay. Okay, we'll vote and then we'll welcome the team and team representative to come say a few words. All those in favor, please say aye.
It's a discussion.
What? Anybody? They already said they wanted to vote first.
Sorry.
Okay. Any opposed? Okay. Motion carries unanimously. Would members of the team please come to the podium and let us honor you with the award? What? undefeated at home, USL 1 champions.
Thank you, Mayor.
We'll come around this side so we can, you want to sit? Okay. Well, on behalf of the city of Knoxville and city council, we are so proud that that we have a professional soccer team and that you are the champions. And it couldn't happen in a better year to a better team in our first year at Covenant Health Park. We built this stadium. It's your home stadium, and we love having you there. And I'm a proud season ticket holder, and you brought so much joy to the people of this city. I know other council members and countless community members were able to attend games, and it just was, you brought a lot of, the beautiful game is here in Knoxville, and you brought a lot of joy and beauty to our city. So Vice Mayor Smith, I know you're a big soccer fan and came to many of the games. Please say, I wanted you to share a few words too.
Just not to say everything that the mayor said, but to just say, I know a number of council members were at most of the games, and it really brought a joy to my face to just see our entire community there, to celebrate the miracle of what it is, that it's your first year in this league and in this stadium, and the Wrexham documentary, I think, could take some notes from one knock. So I'm really, really proud of you guys. It means a lot, and it means a lot to our community. So congratulations.
Please say a few words, and then maybe we can grab a photo with council.
I'll keep it short. The one feeling we have to share is a feeling of gratitude. 4 years ago, we played our first game ever at Austin East High School. And for those who were there, that was a really, really special night. And 4 years later, we played the first championship game in Covenant Health Park. And that night was equally special, neither more special than the other. But the path between was filled with moments where Mayor Kincannon, your office, and this city council have supported us in such a strong way. And we're so grateful for that. And I guess if we have one hope, that hope would be that you guys feel fulfilled or rewarded for the strength and the confidence you had in making this stadium a reality, because it's always a good time to win, but it was never a better time to win than this year. To do it in this stadium with that crowd was a really special moment, and that wasn't possible without this body. So thank you very much. We're glad for what we've accomplished, but we know we have much, much more to do. Thanks.
Can I say something first? On behalf of all of us, first game season holders and soccer moms, thank you. It's been wonderful.
Someone's got to warn me.
Mayor,
Yes.
I have one technical amendment to make that I meant to make earlier
Okay.
to this resolution, just so that it reflects what the team was given. Mr. Johnson, is that okay? Yes. All right. Just just a quick amendment to move to add the following sentence to the section 3 of the resolution. The city recorder is directed to omit this clause from such copy and to renumber section 4 as section 3 for such copy.
Okay, motion to amend made and seconded. Does everyone know what they need to know about that?
Enough to
Okay.
know, yeah, good.
Very
good. Thank you.
Ms. Parker, did you have a question about the amendment?
No, I was going
Okay.
to make a motion to reconsider, but since we are moving forward, I am fine with it.
Okay. All those in favor of this amendment, please say aye. Any opposed? The motion to amend carries. And back to the original motion. Do we have to do
Sure. There's one more correction.
that? Okay, Mr. Vice Mayor? did you-
Yeah. Apparently, we're better winning championships than spelling. So we need to correct the spelling of the word congratulating in the caption.
For real.
That's my motion.
Okay, motion to correct the typo in the caption has been made and seconded. Any further questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion to make that correction carries. I think we can move on. Okay. All right. Bureaucracy in action, right here. Next, we have our consent agenda. Is there a motion on the consent agenda, Vice Mayor Smith?
I need to remove one item from the consent agenda. 13AF is our 202 funds. The detail for those 202 funds missed the deadline, so council members have that. I'd just like to add it to the regular portion of the agenda.
Can you repeat the number?
13AF.
13AF. Oh, okay. That's removed from consent. Yes. The motion is to remove that from consent. I don't think we need to vote on that. Just one person request. Okay. Consider it done. Any other discussion on the consent agenda? Motion made to approve and seconded. Seeing no further questions or discussion, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Time now for my mayor's report. Okay. So I just want to start by, I know you need no reminder, but for those of you who may be watching from home or in the audience, tonight is the last meeting of 5 of our city council members, Vice Mayor Smith, Councilman Roberto, Councilwoman Singh, Councilwoman Ryder, and Councilwoman McKenzie. I have a small token of my appreciation and the city's appreciation at your seats, and we're going to discuss a little more at the end of the meeting, all of the amazing things that you all have accomplished in the last 8 years. So I'll just preface this by saying thank you and look forward to further comments at the end after public forum. So for those of you who want to help celebrate the service of these 5 outgoing council members, please stick around after public forum and we'll be having some more discussions of that. Speaking of the outgoing council members leads me to remind everybody that our new council members will be sworn in on December 20th at 10 a.m. at the Convention Center Lecture Hall. Everyone's invited, and at that meeting will be a specially called council meeting to elect a new vice mayor and a few other positions, and that will happen immediately following the swearing in. And that's a very, typically a pretty short meeting. There's no other items on the agenda except those council elections. And for those of us who will continue to be serving, we're not having another meeting in December. I know everyone's probably okay with that. You set this calendar. So our next meeting after the swearing in is Tuesday, January 6th, 2026. Before I move on, you might have heard, especially enthusiastic members of the audience reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I heard them loud and clear, and I want to just welcome Brownie Troop 22175. They're here. They visited me in the mayor's office before the meeting, and they're in the meeting tonight. They're 3rd and 4th grade girls. Some are homeschooled. Some go to Dogwood Elementary, Rocky Hill, and Bearden Elementary. And tonight they're earning their democracy badge. So could all of you please raise your hands? Yes. Thank you all for being here. Round of applause. We're so glad that you're here to learn about democracy in action. And in 10 years, don't forget to register to vote. And then vote. Welcome. Now I'd like to just remind everybody about our rules of decorum. We are here to do the city's official business. Those who wish to speak, either to a specific agenda item or during public forum, need to sign up with the city recorder before 4 p.m. Do not use profanity, and when speaking to specific agenda items, you must stay on topic. Remarks must be germane to the question and the head of the assembly. That is, statements must have bearing on whether the pending motion should be adopted. Those who fail to adhere to these rules will be ruled out of order. For those who are listening, please note, if you disrupt a public meeting, you will be asked to leave or escorted out. Thank you in advance for everyone's respect for these rules. That does it for my mayor's report. And now we are moving on to reports of committees or council members serving on committees. Are there any reports of committees? Council member Ryder?
For the audit committee, I just want to remind everyone one more time that we will be meeting on December 17th, since I want everybody to know I'm not done tonight. So if anybody would like to join us for that, the meeting is at 3 p.m. On December 17th, upstairs on the 4th floor.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Parker, reports of committees.
Thank you, Mayor. The Knoxville Community and Media Board met recently and received some financial updates. We are adjusting to a larger income this year. Folks are still moving from their cable TV services to their streaming services, so we're seeing less income coming in and have had to make some changes and staff reductions over at Knoxville Community and Media. So some of the plans that we had in place to expand some of our community programs, we've had to pull back on. And there's going to be a lot more focus on the government broadcasting, but we're hoping that we can see a turnaround with Knoxville Community and Media soon, and a change in the funding and landscape for community media, because it is so important, and we can return to those expanded services of community events. But for right now, it's going to be a bit pared back, and wanted to let the community know about that.
Okay, thank you. All right, seeing no further lights, next item is general council member announcements. Vice Mayor Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. Given this is our last meeting, I want to say a few words. It's been a real privilege to join you all in public service. I want to make sure I start by saying thank you to my family who's here. This is a team sport, and you all have been along the whole ride, so thank you for that. Much love to you. The second is, I would like to say, just my colleagues, I've learned from each of you different things. The city is measurably better than it was 8 years ago. There's plenty of work to be done, but I can see the fruits of our work all over the community, and so you've each taught me something. Some of you all helped get me into this situation. And I'm grateful for that. I'm also want to say to the people of the First District who elected me that it means the world that you would trust me to represent the First District. I tried to preserve what's special about South Knoxville and Fort Sanders and add new exciting things that help with the quality of life. And for us five, we were elected citywide, and so to the rest of the city, I honor your respect and have done everything I can to listen well, particularly to parts of the community where I don't live. And so it's really important to me that we represent the whole city, and I can assure you that the five of us who are rolling off tried our really best at that. So it's been an honor for all of you, particularly the Fab Five, who went through some special things together. And I'll end by saying to the city staff, mayor, and all the city employees, it's really special to see behind the curtain and to see how well our city is run. We will know the depths of that more than most, and so I'm really grateful for those of you who work every day thoughtfully to turn complaints and critiques into something special. So it's been a real privilege to serve with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Council members, just a reminder to please speak into your mics. Some people are listening from home have asked us to remind you of that. Ms. Parker.
Okay. Mine's on a different topic. But we have had some concerns raised in the community about notices that have been shared about missing children in our community. And particularly for members of the Black community, when members of the Black community go missing, too often there can be not as much coverage of those cases, and sometimes the coverage can be biased, and there are national organizations that have been developed to try to draw attention to this issue. And so as I noticed the reports that I was seeing come out, it was referring to folks who, children who had potentially run away, or another reason given. And when you look at the national reports, they indicate that a lot of times these cases do not receive the attention needed because of some of the assumptions behind the identity of these individuals, like that they're running away, or that they're coming from poverty-stricken communities or crime-ridden areas. And this is, just a norm in their lives. So I wanted to give some light to this issue in our community, because I've seen multiple cases now, and I also wanted to give an opportunity for our chief of police to also speak to it and inform us on anything, patterns that KPD might be seeing, or anything to address the concerns of the public at the moment. Are you hearing reports about missing children? How is KPD responding?
Ms. Parker, thank you so much for that announcement. I just want to say that as a point of order, I believe council's intention for announcements by council is not the opportunity for questions of my staff. So if there's a particular questions you have for KPD or if council as a whole, Chief Noel is available, but now during council announcements is not that time. Just know that we do take all counts of crimes and runaways and treat them all with as much diligence and responsibility and action as possible. We have no control over how the media responds to that. But I'm not want to move forward to if you have further announcements, but not going to use this time for asking questions of staff.
I can ask the question later during an agenda item if that would make you more comfortable. My announcement is that this is a concern of the community, and we would love to hear from KPD or the administration and be assured that you're taking it seriously.
Rest assured we're taking it seriously. Thank you very much. Mr. Thomas.
Yes, some neighborhood news out of the 5th District. A partnership of Trees Knoxville and Keep Knoxville Beautiful has bestowed an annual Orchid Award to Oakwood Lincoln Park Group for their project of planting more oak trees in Oakwood Lincoln Park. The Re-Oak project was highlighted for its creativity, sustainability, and positive neighborhood impact, recognizing it as a model for community-led reforestation efforts across the city. And by restoring the oak canopy, Re-Oak helps reduce heat, improve air quality, enhance walkability, strengthen community pride. Native oak trees also provide critical habitat for wildlife and long-term environmental benefits for future generations. So congratulations to Re-Oak, Oakwood Lincoln Park, and a special thanks to Rebecca Harmon, Michelle Ivester, and Melissa Hinton of Trees Knoxville. And that concludes my council report. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Roberto.
Thank you, Mayor. Tomorrow, Wednesday, December the 10th, from 5:30 till 7, our school board representative, Kat Bike, County Commissioner Shane Jackson, and I are going to host Meet Your Reps. We will be at Middlebrook Pike United Methodist Church, which is located at 7234 Middlebrook Pike. This will be my last Meet Your Reps with my colleagues from school board and from county commission, but I hope that that continues so you can have a one-stop shop for meeting your local representatives from these three different branches of government if you live in the West Knoxville or Bearden communities. We're hosting this. You might see that we're doing it at a different spot. We're having this at the Middlebrook Pike United Methodist Church this time because we're going to be supporting the church's food pantry. And so we're asking neighbors who are joining us to bring canned vegetables, peanut butter, jelly, and canned soup to help us restock the shelves of the food pantry. This particular food pantry last month distributed 152 bags to families, served 804 people. Of those, 151 were children and 153 were seniors. If you can't make the meeting, you can drop by donations at the Blessing Box anytime, and I would encourage folks to do that because we've seen an increased need for food in the community, and restocking the shelves has been a priority for council here, and hopefully the community can help as well. So we wanted to highlight that. I didn't want to take up a lot of time. I appreciate Vice Mayor Smith's comments. It's been a pleasure to serve with everybody. It's been a pleasure to serve with Mayor O'Hara, Mayor Kincannon. I wanted to make a mention that I have very much so enjoyed the openness to which all of the directors have had to council and to answering our questions and to being resources for us. If I start naming anyone, I'll forget somebody, so I'm going to just leave it at that. But I do appreciate you all. And I'll say more about this later, but I really do appreciate the opportunity to serve the second district representative as the second district representative, and appreciate the support from the city to sit in the seat and then to serve for 8 years. So I really do appreciate that. But I really have to highlight that the biggest thanks I have is to my family. I want to thank my wife, Sarah, for dealing with the late nights, the meetings, me being away as often I have been. And I just want to tell her how much I love her and how much I appreciate her hanging in there with me through this service. And I recognize all that she has sacrificed for me to be here. I also want to recognize my daughter, Hannah, who has likewise seen sacrifices because of me being here. And I look forward to continuing to try to do more work for the Kylie Roberto Foundation in support of my daughter who passed away. And I want to also thank all the community members here. I've heard from many of you in the audience tonight, and I just want to say how much I appreciate my colleagues on council as well as members of the community for reaching out in that very difficult time. But I just really appreciate the opportunity to be here, and I've enjoyed it, and I'll talk more about it later tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember McKenzie.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of announcements. On Saturday, December the 13th, from 6 to 9, the Overcoming Believers Church is going to be having their annual Blessings on Bell Street toy giveaway for children in the community and across the city. They are still taking donations of new unwrapped toys or monetary donations if anyone still wants to participate in that, or just come out. They need volunteers, and just spread the word. If there's families that you know could benefit from this, please let them know. And then also on Saturday, December the 20th, is the annual Burlington Christmas event, and that will be held from 12 to 3. That's hosted by the Burlington Resident and Business Association in conjunction with New Direction, Cynthia Finch, who leads that effort. That's a lot of free stuff and resources and toys and fun, and Santa Claus actually comes. Yeah, I wish the brownies hadn't left before we told them that. And so everyone is welcome to participate in that. And then also I'd like to briefly say just thank you to my colleagues, to the mayor and the administration, and just to the community and the city as a whole. This has been quite a journey. I represent the 6th District, and in 2017, when being elected, did not realize at the time that I would become the first African-American female to ever serve on city council, and just really what that meant, not just to my family and my community, but to the city. And so I have led through this journey some of the best of times and also some of the worst of times when we saw a rash, an increase in gun violence, specifically in the 6th District where children were murdered, and how the community and the city came together through healing and moving forward and just really wrapping our arms around those families and children in the 6th District. And so I want to thank my family for their support. I've actually had several additions to my family since serving on council. I've got 3 of them in the audience today, and the newest member back in the very back. I think you guys remember that little one. And so, again, as Vice Mayor Smith said, when we ran, the 5 of us that are leaving, we had to run citywide. And that was a wonderful experience, getting to learn the other districts and just connecting with the residents there. I still to this day believe that that is so important that we don't just stay stuck in our districts, and that we are actually engaging and we are being really vested in all the districts across the city, in our votes and everything else. And so, bittersweet day. But I really, myself, and I do believe that my other council members, that just because we're not sitting around these seats, we're still going to be boots on the ground, and we're going to be engaged and continue the fight to make sure that our city continues to move in the right direction, in the right trajectory. And again, I've learned so much from our first female mayor and also from our second female mayor as well. And so just thank you all and best wishes, and to everyone out there, happy holidays and best wishes, and God bless. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Parker.
Thank you, Mayor. I didn't get to finish my announcements before you moved on.
My apologies.
My last announcement was to wish my mother a happy birthday this evening. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. It's my dad's birthday today, too. I mean, he's passed, but it's a good, happy day. All right. Moving right along. Let's move to the next item, please.
9B is a resolution confirming the mayor's nomination of Kathy Shuck, contingent on state approval, to the Knox County Planning Commission, formerly known as the Metropolitan Planning Commission.
Motion made to approve and seconded. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
9C is a resolution electing Pete Pearson to the Knoxville Utilities Board of Commissioners.
Motion made to approve and seconded. Councilmember Parker?
Thank you, Mayor. I reached out earlier to Chief Ball and raised some concerns, and received a very thorough and response, which I really appreciated. But my concern is kind of an over-representation of the business community. If we have a healthy number of representatives on the Board of Commissioners from the business community, then at least that community advisory panel should have more community representatives, so that we can balance that out. And we have community voices who are advising the Board of Commissioners. So I'm not planning on voting against this tonight, but I just wanted to lift up that we need to be aware of commitments that we made in 2020, that the community lifted up quite strongly, and the community panel was the compromised solution that moved forward. But with that in mind, the business community, we can't move in a direction where the business community is overrepresented on the KUB board. That's what I wanted to lift up. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your comment. Any further questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
10D is an ordinance amending the fiscal year 2025-2026 operating and capital budgets.
Motion made to approve and seconded. Any questions or discussion? There's one person here signed up to speak in favor, Mary Ellis Richardson. If you could come to the podium, please state your name and address for the record, and you have up to 3 minutes to address council.
Thank you. My name is Mary Ellis Richardson, and I live at 7023 Sheffield Drive here in Knoxville. First, I want to begin by thanking you, Mayor Kincannon, for your leadership and commitment to improving transportation in Knoxville. I also want to thank each of our city council members for your thoughtful engagement and for this body voting yes on the budget amendment supporting microtransit. Your decisions have already begun to move this work forward. As many of you know, Justice Knox has been faithfully committed for more than 6 years to ensuring that Knoxville builds a transportation system that truly serves everyone in our community. And during that time, we have heard story after story from our neighbors, people who cannot get to work, to the doctor, to the grocery store, or to care for loved ones, because our current system simply does not meet their needs. Tonight, I'm grateful to share that because of your commitment, the microtransit implementation team has officially met, including Councilman Helsley, several Justice Knox leaders, as well as staff from CAT, the mayor's office, and our regional transportation planning organization. We held a strong and productive preliminary meeting just last week. We're looking forward to setting goals, thinking about program design, and developing the scope of work. We look forward to continuing this process, including engagement of key stakeholders, some of whom were mentioned during the last City Council meeting, along with others who will play a vital role in planning and implementation. We are dedicated to seeing this through, and we are hopeful that Knoxville will see a microtransit rollout in 2026. As we move forward, we ask for your continued support, including a yes vote on this second reading, so that this work can proceed without delay. Because all of us know that transportation is not a luxury, it's a lifeline. Thank you.
Thank you. Council, that concludes people who signed up to speak to this item. We discussed this last time, and Kitron Smith is here to represent the Finance Department if you have other questions, as I am as well. Councilmember Parker?
Thank you, Mayor. I do not plan to support this tonight, and I ask, as the planning moves forward, that we don't create a program that turns union jobs into lower wage jobs, that we don't create staff positions that previously would have had benefits and create positions that have fewer benefits. As we are determining how we can have the staffing needed and the buses and the routes needed to serve our community, let's work to address those root causes that are keeping us from being able to hire the drivers that we need, rather than putting a Band-Aid on the situation. That's what I hope moving forward, that we see a plan that comes out that address these long-term issues that have been ongoing, that are impacting our bus services, and that we continue to grow CAT, our Knoxville area transit services, and that we don't invest in something substandard. That's my hope.
Thank you. Any further questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 8-1. And I want to thank council. I'm really excited to move forward with the projects at Burlington and Lonsdale, among other things. So thank you very much for the support. Next item, please.
10E is an ordinance to amend ordinance number O-107-2019, known and cited as the City of Knoxville Zoning Code, to remove a previously approved planned district designation from property located at 962 North Gallagher View Road, Mainland MCA, Knoxville applicant, 2nd District.
Motion made to approve and seconded. There are some people who've signed up to speak. We'll start with the ones signed up to speak in favor. First is James Lennon. Mr. Lennon, if you could state your name and address for the record, you'll have up to 3 minutes to address council.
Thank you. My name is James Lennon. I'm the owner of the property. My company address is 1905 Ackland Avenue in Nashville, Tennessee. Good evening, and thank you for hosting me again. And I do want to say I really appreciate all the time and accessibility you've all provided to me over these last few weeks in working through this. I've really enjoyed speaking with many of you, and honestly, I've enjoyed speaking with all the parties in Knoxville, and I look forward to continuing to work through our project as it moves forward. We had a thorough discussion last week, so I will try and keep it brief and keep it under 3. Oh my goodness. Our choice is this. On the one hand, we have the designation could be removed and the process will be clear. Our development plans for townhomes will be subject to the special use process with public input. No one is unclear about what that path entails. On the other hand, we have an unclear process with conflicting legal opinions about which sector plan should guide the Planning Commission utilizing the planned residential process of the old code. Our reason for putting the plan designation in place is no longer valid or relevant, and so I would like to take the clear path, removing the plan designation, and follow the current codes and policies. So I'll stick around for questions, if any.
Thank you. Next person signed up to speak in favor of this is Ellen Zaviska. Ms. Zaviska, if you could come to the podium, you'll have up to 3 minutes to address council.
Good evening, Ellen Zaviska, 3118 Fairview Street, speaking tonight on behalf of Yes Knoxville, which is a nonprofit that supports more housing choices and transportation opportunities in our city. And I spoke in favor of this item at the last council meeting, where there was, of course, a lengthy discussion as part of an even lengthier meeting. So I will try to keep this short. As I said last meeting, and as Councilmember Smith graciously reiterated, if this isn't an appropriate location for multifamily housing, I don't think there is one in the city. It's along 2 major corridors, a bus route, a greenway, and has nearby commercial development. The developer has told us a little bit last meeting about the price point for these homes. They're not super affordable, but compared with West Hills, where homes are routinely listed for twice what these homes will sell for, it's a good addition to this part of the city. It offers entry into a very desirable neighborhood for folks who would otherwise not be able to afford it, and I think that's a good thing. There was discussion in the last meeting, as Mr. Lennon just said, about other routes this development could go through. It was suggested it could go back to Planning Commission, it could be subdivided, it could be someone could sacrifice a chicken at midnight while doing incantations. That last one I just made up, but as my point is that there's a clear path to allowing this development to occur and a very convoluted path, and I hope you will support the clear path. Thank you.
Thank you. Now moving over to people who signed up to speak in opposition to this item, we'll start with Larry Silverstein. Mr. Silverstein, you'll have up to 3 minutes to address council. If you could start by stating your name and address for the record.
Larry Silverstein, 7808 Sheffield Drive, Knoxville 37909. I am speaking on behalf of the West Hills Community Association and the adjacent homeowners to the property at 962 North Gallagher View Road. We ask that you deny the request to remove the previously approved Planned District C map designation. What our community wants is a seat at the table to provide input on the development of this property through the special use process. Removing the C designation removes the ability to develop the property under planned residential zoning. If the C is removed, the property can be developed under RN4, but the developer requires a variance from the RN4 regulations. Planned residential and RN4 allow the same uses. The difference is public process. Planned residential requires special use review and public input for all development. RN4 requires special use review and public input for some development. Special use review is required in RN4 only if there are 9 or more dwelling units on a lot. If this owner or any future owner subdivides this 4-acre lot into 4 lots, each lot can be developed with 8 dwelling units for a total of 32 dwelling units without any public input through special use review. The planned districts, including planned residential, were designed for prominent or sensitive properties. This property is exactly that. The description of the planned residential development states that it is intended to provide optional methods of land development which encourages more imaginative solutions to environmental design problems, and that the, quote, development be compatible with the surrounding and adjacent districts. When this property was rezoned in September 2024 from RN1 to RN4, both the Planning Commission and this City Council kept the C designation in place to make good on the promise of careful planning and public input made in 2016 when the property was rezoned to planned residential. Please keep the C designation in place so that we have a seat at the table during the development process. And I thank you for your consideration, and I thank the outgoing City Council members for their service to the City of Knoxville. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Sergey Zayats. If you could come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and you'll have up to 3 minutes to address council.
Good evening. I'm Sergey Zayats, 1552 Robinson Road. I'm speaking on behalf of my parents and my brother William, who live at 1556 Robinson Road, immediately adjacent to the property. My family lives just across my parents' house. Our family lived there for 27 years. Because of the close proximity to our house, to the property, we are concerned about how this property would be developed, either by this owner or in the future. We understand that this property will be developed, and we and our neighbors are willing to work together and share our concerns with the owner through the public special use process provided for all development plans under the planned residential. We discussed that with Mr. Lennon in our community meeting September 15th. We would hope that future discussions regarding development plans would include an appropriate setbacks and buffer between our house and the development. We ask that the designation C remains to ensure that the special use public process is used during development. This is the only way we will be provided a seat at the table, like it was mentioned before, when development decisions are being considered. RN4 does not provide that opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And the last person on this item is Leland Hume. Mr. Hume, if you could come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and you'll have up to 3 minutes to address council on this item.
Excuse me. Good evening. My name is Lee Hume. I live at 6902 Haverhill Drive, Knoxville, Tennessee, and I'm the current president of the West Hills Community Association. On behalf of the West Hills Community Association and our friends and neighbors adjacent to and in close proximity to the property at 962 North Gallagher View Road, we respectfully ask that you retain the existing Plan C residential map designation. The planned residential process allows public input during the development process and gives our community and our neighbors an opportunity to present our perspective on the property and have a seat at the table during the planning process. The planned residential process provides the opportunity for public input for all development plans, unlike the RN4, which allows for only some development plans depending on the number of dwelling units on a lot. The C designation keeps the planned residential development process in place for this owner and any future owner of the property. Proposed development plans can come and go, as we have seen several times on this property. Our community has been involved with the development plans for different ideas that have come since 2016, and we bring to the table a long-term perspective, as well as understanding that this property will be developed at some point. But we bring perspectives long-term and also to experiences and concerns that may be unaware of the developer. And we would like to work with the developer to end up with a positive win-win situation. Planned residential was adopted by the city of Knoxville about 60 years ago. Many properties have been developed under that process since. The transition rules adopted in 2020 through RECODE to continue the development process for these previously approved planned districts, including planned residential. We believe the process should remain in place for this property, and therefore we respectfully ask that you deny the application of the removal of the C designation. Thank you.
Council, that concludes people who signed up to speak on this item. Council Member Roberto.
Thank you, Mayor. I know we had a lengthy conversation last time, so I'm not going to try to repeat the lengthy conversation, but I had a couple questions that I think will help clear things up. Mr. Frost, it's my understanding, I know you've even talked about this, but there are two legally viable paths at present for the developer to achieve his proposal to build 32 townhomes on this property. One of those paths is to develop under planned residential by using the transition rules, and the other path is to develop under RN4. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe that's correct.
Thank you. Director Brooks, does planned residential require special use approval for all developments?
No, not for all developments.
Does planned residential require special use approval for all developments?
Yeah, for previously approved planned residential properties that have that C designation, yes, they have to go through the special use process.
Okay. And then isn't it true that no special use approval is required in RN4 unless the development has 9 or more dwelling units in 1 or more townhouse buildings on a lot?
That's correct for townhomes. There are additional special use requirements for other multifamily types.
So just trying to clear up the confusion from last meeting with these answers. I think these are two very important points. One, planned residential is in our zoning ordinance and is a viable legal path to develop 32 townhomes on this property. Two, the neighbors are not asking council to prevent townhouses being developed on this property. What we heard from them tonight was the neighbors know that this will be developed. Rather, they're asking council to give them a process where the neighbors have a seat at the table. And the only way to guarantee that public process is for this development to proceed under planned residential, based on the answers we just got. So rather than deny the request, which I don't think is the right approve, I don't approve of doing that. If we deny it, then that sets this Mr. Lennon back in the sense that he would have limitations on being able to bring this back in case planned residential doesn't work. What I'm going to suggest is that I'm going to make a motion to withdraw this. If we withdraw it, then he doesn't have that limitation in case it doesn't work. But we've heard from both planning and from law, and from Mr. Frost, that is, that this is a viable path, that it's in our zoning ordinance to develop 32 units on this property of townhouses today, and the neighbors are not asking for anything other than a seat at the table. And so my request is that I hope you'll support the motion to withdraw. Thank you.
I will second.
Okay, there's a motion to withdraw and a second. Councilmember Ryder?
So I am only to speak on the motion to withdraw?
Well, yeah, that can cover.
Or I can say why I would or wouldn't support the motion to withdraw?
You need to start the clock over for her, please. I mean, because
Sure.
she's a new person. Just talk.
I'm a new person. I get 5
Talk
minutes,
on this
right?
motion to withdraw.
Okay.
Up to 5 minutes.
Mr. Lennon, could you, are you supportive of withdrawing this?
No.
Okay. To reiterate, it is your understanding that there is a clear path forward with the RN4 zoning and not as clear a path forward with the C designation plan residential in place.
That is correct. I'm not an attorney. I also want to reiterate that with the plan designation removed, there is a public process that we will go through with the neighborhood. So when Mr. Silverstein says, I don't have a seat at the table, he does.
Did you meet with Mr. Hume or someone else from the neighborhood today?
I did.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm treading water here, I guess. I'm supposed to be talking about the withdrawal. So I am not going to support the withdrawal. I helped vote to put the transition rules in our ordinance when we passed RECODE. It was not my understanding at that time that the transition rules, the purpose of the transition rules being voted in and why we needed them and why we added them was because there are developments out there that might have changes. Or let's say that there's a development out there and they demolish a building or it had a fire or something needs to happen. There needs to be a path forward for redevelopment, new development changes within parcels that were developed under planned residential. And that was the reason, my understanding of why we put those into the transition rules. The transition rules is a multi-part section. It applies to more than just planned residential. That's just Part G. There are other things in the transition rules, and they have time limitations on them, some of them. What is interesting, and where I feel we failed, was there's no time limitation on an unbuilt, unused parcel. And to tell someone, you can't use your land, we're going to devalue your land because you went through a process 9 years ago and that partner went bankrupt. And we're going to tie you and bind you to something because we have these transition rules. I think that is bad policy. And I think that we have to look at it from all sides. And I understand and I urge, and I will be on Mr. Lennon's back to listen and work with you. And if the setback for the plans that they have set out are not what you want, what I asked a couple of times in the last meeting was, what do you want differently? Not what the transition rules say. How would you like the 32 unit townhouses that he has shown us a plan for set out? And I am not supporting with the withdrawal because the seat at the table is there and the special use process happens. Ms. Brooks, that's correct. If they continue forward with the plan of putting 32 units on the one parcel, if the whole 4 acres stays on one parcel, they will come through for a special use review.
Yes, that is correct.
And that will be a publicly noticed process. Yes. Okay. So when they don't use the special use process is when they subdivide it. And then they wouldn't need the variance that they applied for. Is that correct, Ms. Brooks? If they were to subdivide the parcel and do 8 or less units on multi-parcels.
It changes the process, the special use process, but I can't speak to the variances they would need or not need.
Okay. Well, part of the email that we got today from concerned citizens was that if they move forward, they have a variance, and that process that they've already started down for 32 units on the full one parcel as one parcel does take them through special use process. So on all of those notes, I will not support the withdrawal.
Thank you. Councilmember Thomas.
Yes. I will support the withdrawal based upon a lot from what's already been said by my colleague and the emails and Mr. Silverstein and Mr. Hume's comments. And I do want to talk about affordability because, as the applicant said, he's looking at probably about $400,000 per unit. And that's not affordable to the people who would really need it. It's none of the units are set aside as affordable with any of the city affordability programs. And it's not really going to house people that need it. And so I don't think it's worth a zoning change in an established neighborhood if we're really not going to make a dent in the affordability problem. People that really need it are going to be priced out by these units. Just because the path is the clearest path forward doesn't mean it's the best path. And I'm not sure the path that's proposed by the applicant is really that clear, just from some of the comments that have already been made. But I think we should actually look for the best path forward. And I think that the best path forward is developed under planned residential because it involves much more public process. And I agree with some of the concerns that we've stated. And another comment I'll make is I try to air some of my constituents' concerns from what they heard at the last meeting, and I had a very enjoyable conversation with the applicant, and we spent some time on the phone. But the applicant is from Nashville, and all the examples he gave of units that he had done or developments he had done are in Nashville. And what my constituents are saying is that we don't want to see Knoxville turn into Nashville, and that they would likely think that this is going to be a step in the right direction. So again, I think that the best path is the planned residential and allow the neighbors who aren't opposed to development, but give them much more of an opportunity to be involved than what they would get, than what RN4 requires. So I'll be supporting the motion to withdraw.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Parker?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to, I guess, maybe remind my colleagues that on today's agenda, we just approved on the consent agenda removing a planned district C designation. And the reason I want to bring it up is because when I read this agenda item, that's 13AA, I considered taking it off of the consent agenda so that we could discuss it, because it's in an established neighborhood and this lot of land is right next to $1 million houses. But we don't get pushback in East Knoxville. And as council members, we don't push back in East Knoxville. We'll change the zoning left and right. But even on a major thoroughfare in West Knoxville, we will question it. So I just wanted to lift that up. When that may pass at our next meeting without any discussion, but I would hope that we apply the same standards throughout the city. If we feel like established neighborhoods in West Knoxville shouldn't have their zoning changed because the project going in there is not affordable housing, then let's apply that as standard everywhere. That's all I ask.
Councilmember Roberto?
Thank you, Mayor. The transition rules provide an opportunity for the C to be removed as well as the process to be followed. So there have been plenty of examples of properties removing their previously planned district, just like tonight. There wasn't any opposition to remove it. I don't know the particulars of that specific development. I know the particulars of this one. But there's nothing that because there's a process to remove it means that it has to be removed. In this particular case, there are reasons to develop this under planned residential. What we heard, and I appreciate my colleague, Councilmember Ryder, reminding us about our work on making sure the transition rules were in the code, and also putting a very fine point on the fact that in RN4, you may be provided a public process, but only in planned residential, you are required a public process, and that gives the neighbors a seat at the table. And that's what they're asking for tonight. I hope that you will support this. I went back and looked at some of the letters that we had gotten during the recode process back in 2020, and Director Brooks had talked about in her letter to us in August of 2020 that the intent of these amendments is to ensure the review of these previously planned district properties is consistent with the process under which they were previously approved. Process. And also a letter from Deputy to the Mayor Stephanie Welch, where she sent us a letter, and in that she says, the proposed amendment allows a clear path forward in the event that a property owner wants to remove the planned district designation and requirements entirely, or to modify those requirements. It was always about you can remove them if you want to, you can follow them if you want to. What I'm asking is that we clarify this for this developer, that he can develop this under planned residential. We've already heard the answers today, and the neighborhood would appreciate that, and that's why I made the motion to withdraw. Thank you.
Councilmember Ryder, still on the motion to withdraw?
Yeah, I'd like to clarify one of the comments that was made. I appreciate Councilwoman Parker's comments, 2 parts there. The other C designation that's on consent, that is the homeowners applying for it. It is a built home. It is RN2 zoning, so it's low density residential, which is our single family houses and our duplexes. And you're right, there's tons of places that we don't hear from neighbors because they aren't organized. That one is the applicants are the owners, and it's a small parcel of land. But on the note that you brought up, you're bringing up the equity issue, and on that note, Ms. Brooks, doesn't that tie to why we removed planned residential as a tool? So if I own a piece of property, I can't apply to put planned residential on a new piece of property because it's not in our code. There are transition rules for the ones that got zoned and have the C designation from days of old. But I can't walk into your office and have a new piece of property zoned planned residential, can I?
No, you cannot.
I cannot. And what was the reason why we went to in the recode, we changed from that model to the current zoning that we have?
I believe the intent was to provide more certainty in the code for property owners as well as community members by being very clear about what could be built and how property could be subdivided.
Because there's more details about setbacks, design standards.
Dimensional standards, height. Yes.
So that answers into Councilwoman Parker's question. The idea was that there's a more level playing field built into the zoning code, so you don't necessarily, because it should be the same in East Knoxville and South and West and everywhere else, and a more level playing field in the zoning code. And that was the purpose. So just wanted to touch on that.
Vice Mayor Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to thank Councilman Roberto for clearing up some of the discussion from last time. With that said, I won't be able to support the withdrawal. I do think that I'm convinced that there will be public input process in this, even if the C designation is removed. So based on everything I've heard, I think the neighborhood will have a seat at the table. So for that reason, I'll be supporting the rezoning or the C designation removal and not the withdrawal.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the motion to withdraw? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion to withdraw, please say aye. Any opposed? The motion to withdraw fails. Back to the original motion. Do we need a roll call? I think it's just two. Four, okay, I guess we'll do a roll call vote, sorry.
Councilman Roberto.
We're voting on.
Just a roll call vote on your motion to withdraw.
To withdraw. I vote yes to withdraw.
Vice Mayor Smith. Councilman Singh. Councilman Thomas. Councilwoman Fugit. Councilwoman Helsley. Councilwoman McKenzie.
Yes.
Councilwoman Parker. Councilwoman Ryder. No. Mayor, the vote is 4 in favor, 5 opposed.
Okay, the motion fails 5-4. Back to the original motion, or there was an original motion.
To approve,
right?
yes,
To approve the agenda item as written. Councilmember Singh.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Lennon, do you mind coming back up?
Yeah.
Thank you. I agree with Councilmember Smith that there will be public at the table and they'll be involved and that you will continue your conversations. But Councilmember Thomas brought up a point that's really important. We do need affordable housing. Because of state laws, we are not allowed to require it from developers.
Right.
But I would like to make that request of you to consider maybe different price points on some of that housing.
Yes, I will say this. We are a for-profit developer.
You don't have to have all of them.
Right.
Just
and we have looked at the market and we have sought, part of the reason that it's 32 units and not, the West Hills Community Association has advocated for fewer, higher priced units.
Yes.
We are looking at 32 units because it allows us to hit a lower price point. That's why we're looking.
Keep on doing the math.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Councilmember Fugit.
Thank you. The only thing I want to say is I think the discussion that we've had about this for the last 2 weeks highlights the difficulty and the unease and concern about rezonings that neighbors have. As the West Hills Homeowners Association brought forward, Community Association, brought forward, this is the third time we've talked about this piece of property probably in the last couple of years. So one of the things that I don't have an answer for this, but I just have to say it because I think it's something we need to think about, planning needs to think about, council needs to think about, is everybody wants certainty. People who invested in a neighborhood want certainty that their investment is still going to be good. A developer, I've loaned money to many of them. They need certainty in time frame, what's expected, and how things will go. I think where neighbors get very concerned is when this person asking for it actually owns the property. But many times people come before this body asking for a rezoning with an option to purchase a property. And the plan all sounds good and everybody can be for it. And then when they walk away from it, if it's been rezoned and people don't build what they were promised it would build, there's a breach of trust with neighbors. So I think it is incumbent on all of us not to be smug about this, not to take it lightly when neighbors object or have concerns about a rezoning in their community. Because what the person asking for the rezoning promises may or may not happen. And it is rezoned until another council rezones it again. So I just would like for us to understand the implications of all these. I know we do, those of us that sit around here do, but I think sometimes to the community it looks like much ado about nothing. And it is not nothing on the developer side, and it's not nothing on the neighborhood side. So I just felt like I had to say that because oftentimes what we hear is, well, we feel confident this developer is going to do what he said he will do. And he owns the property, so that gives me a lot more comfort. But when it's an option to purchase and you can't get financing and your deal falls through, then what a neighbor agreed to probably won't happen. So I'm sorry, that's just, I had to put that out there in the record.
Councilmember Ryder?
Yeah, I understand my colleagues concerned about the price points of it, and we're in a lot of ways bound where we can't tell them what they can and can't do. I will say, Councilwoman Singh and I recently had a conversation, not on this agenda item, about our friends, people we know moving to Austin, which I thought was really weird because I've always heard of people coming here because Austin is too this, too that, too expensive. Well, it turns out, and please do not mishear me, I am not advocating for this, but it turns out, I learned from Councilwoman Singh that they built, I just looked it up because I have to do that, 54 new housing units between 2018 and 23. And that is because, and so I believe they weren't all income restricted or low income. It's just the huge influx of new housing pushed it down to where my friends' kids are leaving because the rents there, and going there because the rents there are $600 a month cheaper. So we can say, Mr. Lennon, we don't approve of your plan to build $400,000 units. But the people that are going to buy those $400,000 units, they're not going to buy the $400,000 house in our community or the $150,000 house and McMansion it up, I'm sorry, and make it a $400,000 house, which is what's been happening in our neighborhoods off Broadway, is where it gets decked out to the point where it's a $400,300 a square foot house. So yes, we would love to see more affordable things. I think the thing is when we allow some more housing units, we're going to see some more of that. And the supply demand thing is real. And we keep saying no to it in so many places. And I support this as it is on Gallagher and Middlebrook. It is not in the neighborhood, the entrance and the exits. Yes, it is near one piece of property, but I've measured out and I sent Mr. Lennon questions about the distancing to the property behind it. And if there's a way to shift to create more distance, but the setbacks are like 20 feet plus, and I believe there was some conversation floating about that it was 10 feet from your house, but that's not allowed. So I don't know where the truth lie, but I perceive that that is going to happen in the special use process and the conversations that are going to happen to make sure that it gets buffered correctly and the setbacks are as our zoning code. And if we don't have the right setbacks in the zoning code, then that's where that needs to be modified, is in the zoning code that is supposed to level the playing field.
Councilmember Parker, then Singh.
Just one thing I wanted to lift up is that tonight we are voting on whether to remove the C designation from this property. But what I'm hearing is there's been a variance applied for, and there are other steps that have to take place for the developer's plans to be realized. There's a possibility, and I'm curious, actually, I would like to ask the developer, if you don't mind coming up. And lawyers, you tell me if I cross the line, but I don't know how to broach this conversation. But there's a possibility that we could vote to remove the C designation, making that no longer an option for you, that process. And now you've got additional steps to go through for that RM4 designation.
Is that a question?
Which includes variances.
We already bought the property. We bought it 9 years ago, right? We're going to build something. I'm just trying to look through my way to go through this. Yes, the process to build the 32 townhomes will go through the special use process. That was calendared for months ago. I delayed it for a long time to engage in this conversation. We have been kicking that can down the road. It is currently calendared for January 8th to go before the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission, or the planning staff, requested that the standard about front setbacks or it's not front setbacks, the front width of the lot. When it's townhomes, there needs to be 20 feet of lot frontage per unit. We have, my belief is a hardship property in that it is irregularly shaped with slope and actually has no frontage. So we went to the BZA.
Excuse me, just a minute.
And got a variance.
Just one second. Mr. Frost wanted to have a point of legal order.
Sorry.
Thank you. And I appreciate Councilmember Parker recognizing the situation. There is an appeal coming in January to this council. It's about what this gentleman just discussed. I mean, the council's not here to hear about that particular issue coming up. It is a public forum, or excuse me, it is a public meeting. I'm guessing they're still here, the people who filed the appeal, but I'd respectfully submit, let's try to stay away from that tonight.
Thank you. Sorry.
So I don't want to litigate that issue tonight, but I just wanted to lift up that there are additional issues for council to potentially consider if something were to come back before us in January, as mentioned. And then you wouldn't have access to the concept plan
residential process, right?
But that was a risk you were willing to take.
That is a risk I'm willing to take. And I do just want to speak to one thing, if I might, Councilwoman Fugit. The reason when this property came before this council last year to be zoned to RN4 and the sector plan changed, if the designation is not removed, it's like that never happened, as I understand it. We will be operating under the old code. So these issues that got debated by this council a year ago are the same issues that are being debated here. So it's not that I want to keep coming back. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Singh?
Mr. Lennon, you're going to get all your steps in and everything today.
Sorry.
If you do not get the variance, what changes in the plans? I know this is all hypothetical.
Mr. Frost,
I'm not prepared.
Mr. Frost
I don't
is
know.
advising that we not go down that path.
That's a line? Okay.
You can come back and observe your future council member debate that in January.
Just wondering about Plan B. All right.
Okay, Vice Mayor Smith?
I have an instinct that this will be back before council a couple more times. So with that said, I'd like to call the question.
There's no one else with their lights on, so we'll just go ahead and, if it's okay with Vice Mayor, there are no more lights on, so we're voting on the motion to approve this item. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Singh, Councilman Thomas, Councilwoman Fugit, Councilwoman Helsley, Councilwoman McKenzie, Councilwoman Parker, Councilwoman Ryder,
Yes.
Councilman Roberto,
No.
Vice Mayor Smith. Mayor, the vote is 5 in favor, 4 opposed.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, next item, please.
12H is a resolution authorizing the mayor to award a total of $5,000 in neighborhood small grants, program grants in support of community building activities planned by the Old Sevier Community Group. This award will be made to the East Tennessee Community Design Center, which will serve as fiscal sponsor for Old Sevier Community Group.
Motion made to approve and seconded. Councilmember Parker.
I'm curious about the process for this grant fund. Usually we see more awardees through the Neighborhood Small Grants Program, but only one this time. I'm curious why.
You previously approved the others. This one still had some tweaks to be made and some things to be worked out with the neighborhood on the project.
Yep.
And so it was not ready to come before you when the others came, but the others came, I think, about 2 or 3 meetings ago.
Yep. Awesome, thank you.
Absolutely.
Any further questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
12I is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with Whaley Construction LLC in an amount not to exceed $621,633.50 for construction of the Old City Streetscapes Phase 2 project.
Motion made to approve and seconded. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
12J is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with Pipkin and Associates LLC in an amount not to exceed $35,250 to provide right-of-way appraisal services for the Chapman Highway Multimodal Project.
Motion made to approve and seconded. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
12K is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a quitclaim deed to East Tennessee Housing Development Corporation for one parcel of property located at 707 Ben-Hur Avenue, parcel ID number 082NL001, within the limits of the city of Knoxville pursuant to the Homemakers Program for a contract sales price of $15,100.
Motion made to approve and seconded. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
12L is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a quitclaim deed to East Tennessee Housing Development Corporation for one parcel of property located at 1509 North 4th Avenue, parcel ID number 082IA010, within the limits of the city of Knoxville pursuant to the Homemakers Program for a contract sales price of $15,100.
Motion made to approve and seconded. Councilmember Ryder and then Parker.
Yeah. I just wanted to say, I don't know if Kathy Ellis is here.
Yes, she is.
Oh, okay.
Ms. Ellis, it sounds like you might need to come to the podium to answer a question. And Director Kevin DuBose is here as well.
Okay. So I'm excited to see this happen. For anybody that remembers, we voted on this property before. This was a vacant property where the heirs passed away and the heirs to the heirs passed away. And so after digging and finding many obituaries after a fire, I was getting text messages about this property almost nightly prior to the fire. So the house was long abandoned. And this is a very strange anecdotal fact. Just before the city demolished the house after the fire, the neighbor's friend was over and they went into the home and there was actually an urn of ashes from deceased that used to own the home, I guess. Anyway, they took that and they buried it properly because no one claimed them, so it didn't end up going away to the dump when the house was torn down. So very sad and strange thing. But I'm very excited to see, so what is the plan exactly? The next steps.
Ms. Ellis, if you could just identify yourself for those who, for the record.
Sure. Kathy Ellis, City of Knoxville, 400 Gay Street. The property, of course, is now a vacant parcel of land on a formerly very, very dilapidated chronic problem property. And it will have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,180 square foot single-family home, 1.5 story. It'll be ADA visitable and Energy Star certified. And it will also go to a family with income at or below 80% of the household area median, so it will be affordable for the families.
Okay. Thank you so much, and I appreciate all your work through the years.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilmember Ryder and Ms. Ellis. Councilmember Parker.
It was already mentioned in the description provided by Ms. Ellis, and I appreciate that, but I just wanted to lift up and applaud that both of these properties being sold through the Homemakers Program will go to a household with an income at or below 80% of the area median income, and I'm super happy to see it.
Thank you. Kevin DuBose, Housing and Neighborhood Development. I just want to point out that there is a preference in our homemakers rules that were passed by ordinance for affordable housing. It's not exclusive to affordable housing, but the great majority of the ones that will come to council will be for affordable projects.
I'd like for them all to be. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
12M is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute any and all documents necessary to award an amount not to exceed $1,500,000 from the Affordable Rental Development Fund to Beeman Lake 2 LP for the development of 30 affordable rental housing to be located at 1213 Beeman Lake Road, as more specifically described herein.
Motion made to approve and seconded. Any questions or discussion? Councilmember Parker.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. When this property came before us for rezoning, I believe it was, there were concerns about the size of the street and the bus traffic on the street. And I know Councilmember McKenzie had some discussions to address the bus traffic. And I believe in our meeting there was discussion, maybe even a commitment made by the administration to look at what road improvements could be made. And so I was wondering if we were able to look into that and if we should expect any commitments to Beeman Lake for future road improvements.
Mr. Clabo.
Tom Clabo, Engineering Director. So we had a pre-submittal meeting with the developer with the number of units. It doesn't really meet the threshold for a traffic impact analysis, but we have indicated that we would we try to be equitable as far as the impact to the infrastructure with what's being developed. So we've asked for the road to be widened to 20 feet through the length of the property, about 700 feet. So that'll be back down toward McDonald Road. The remainder of the road, about 450 feet, is 18 feet wide. So we think that's adequate for the number of trips it's going to generate.
That's something. Mm-hmm. We got something. Okay. I think that's good that it was looked into because, perhaps a traffic study isn't warranted, but from experience, many in the community can tell you that it is a cut-through street and it does get a lot of traffic. And it now has two, significant facilities on this road. And so as we expand density and growth in that area because of a need in the city and a willing property owner able and excited to bring this project forward, I'm hearing the community say to us, okay, but we also have to make those infrastructure investments. So I'm glad to hear that at least part of the road will be widened as this project comes in. Thanks.
Councilmember McKenzie.
Thank you, Mayor. And I will say that, yes, I am. I use that cut through, been using it since I learned how to drive. And so I'm excited to hear that as well. But also just want to say that I'm really happy about this development. There's such a great need that I think sometimes we take for granted for senior housing, for low-income senior housing. And Golden Age 1 is a prime example. Beautiful facility. The seniors are thriving there. I've had the opportunity to know some folks who live there. And so, again, I'm glad to see this development being able to hopefully get off the road. Do we have a date in mind when construction would start? Mr. Nance, do you mind? I don't know if you have that information, but if you do, if you could just maybe let us know.
Mr. Nance, if you could come to the podium and state your name and connection to this project for us and answer the council's question.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Alvin Nance with LHP Development. We are serving as the developer for this particular project. We are planning to start construction in April. And we anticipate a 16 to 18 month construction period.
Awesome. Thank you. That's
All right.
all I need to know. Thank you.
Any further, Councilmember Thomas?
Yes, just simply some cheerleading here. I appreciate everybody that's put out effort to make this happen. This is the kind of low-income housing we need, and it's in a good location, and thank you.
Any further questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Council, for supporting this project. This is just what the Affordable Rental Development Fund exists for, so very grateful to be moving forward. Next item, please.
12N is a resolution further amending Resolution R-326-2024, which authorized the mayor to execute any and all documents necessary to award a total amount not to exceed $1,768,642 in Youth Homelessness Demonstration Program grant funds by modifying allocation designated to My Daughter's Journey and Knoxville, Knox County Community Action Committee.
Motion made to approve and seconded. Any questions or discussion? Councilmember Parker.
Yes, I have some serious concerns about this agenda item that to me is at minimum premature, but quite concerning. So the executive director of My Daughter's Journey was not able to be here tonight because of car trouble, but she has shared information with council about what her experience has been as a grantee through this program. And I'm concerned about this proposal coming before council to transfer their funding to another organization and not recognize the outstanding request for reimbursement that's been issued by this organization that has expended resources, incurred cost, and has submitted receipts and documentation because they've followed up with me to let me know what they've submitted. So I have a record of that submission as well. So I'm failing to understand, first of all, why the city was not able to work with this partner, this valued partner, who serves a portion of our community that CAC does not serve and does not serve in the same way. I'm very concerned why we weren't able to address these issues before it came to this. And then secondly, I'm concerned that this is coming before City Council to reallocate their funding before the past 6 months of work has been reimbursed. So I would like to get a better understanding from the city of why this has come before City Council tonight.
Thank you, Ms. Parker. Mr. DuBose, I know that you and other members of the staff have worked with this grant recipient, and the federal HUD grant recipient guidelines are very particular. So if you could explain the efforts we've made to support this and other grantees and explain why this agenda item is here before council tonight, please.
Yes. Thank you, Mayor. Kevin DuBose, Housing and Neighborhood Development. I think the key thing to point out is that the organization, My Daughter's Journey, pulled out of the contract. They ended the contract on their own. They weren't asked to end the contract. There was not a desire for them to end. And in fact, there were a lot of folks who tried to intervene and bring them into compliance. The compliance issue was there from the start, and we were never, in the short time that they were in, able to bring them into compliance. And as a result, the expenses that were presented did not have the documentation required to meet the bar for us to, to make reimbursement. And to your,
can you answer what specific documentation was missing?
well, I want to be careful in respect to the organization, but I will say that the way we need to proceed is to follow our procurement process, our reimbursement process that were outlined, and any special caveats to that need to be in writing. And there were some, ways that contractors were paid that were inconsistent with the way we spelled out how to do business with the city.
Well, that confuses me because in May 2025, the director of the organization received an email from Ariel Benson, Knox, Tennessee Housing, outlining all of the documentation requirements, including what needed to be submitted for timesheets and payments made through PayPal, which is how they pay their contractors.
Councilmember Parker, I'll let Mr. DuBose answer your question, and then since your time is up, I'll move on to the next council member and come back to you as needed. Yeah. Mr. DuBose, can you speak to that?
In order for us to reimburse like that, the city would have to have a policy that we would use Cash App and PayPal to make those reimbursements. And we would also need to, because the expenditure was for salaries. And so you need a real pay stub, and you need time, those sorts of things. And so, and this is the advice we've been given by the consultant from HUD. And what they've said is, yes, if those alternative ways are established, then it needs to be a part of your policies. So.
Well, Ms. Parker, I'll come back to you. And just trying to follow council's roles here. Council Member McKenzie?
Thank you, Mayor. So kind of off topic, but this question is regarding this particular organization. They are listed as for 202 funds, and we've made designations. This particular item does not impact our ability to be able to provide them with 202 funds. And I'm not sure if you can answer that.
Yeah, I believe that's correct. The difference is the HUD requirements, not the city of Knoxville.
We just heard it was a city policy issue.
That's not what
That's
Mr.
what
DuBose
was
said.
just shared. We would have to have a city policy.
For that specific example you said, is that HUD makes sure we follow our own policies. Yeah.
So we already grant to them, and that's their payment.
Councilmember McKenzie, you still have the floor. We'll come back to you, Ms. Parker, when Councilmember McKenzie's done.
So I think my question has been answered, that this conversation, this agenda item does not impact our ability from council to allocate funds to them.
Yes.
That's all I needed to know. Okay.
Thank you. Councilmember Parker. And Councilmember Singh after that.
So since my time on council, I've had multiple Black-led organizations come to me with concerns about their treatment by city staff when they receive funding from the city, and the moving of the bar about what is required for them to submit, and the impact that this has not only on them as an individual organization, but on Black-led organizations in general in Knoxville. Because I continue to see it happen. And I continue to see the language used with those organizations. Now, everything that's been shared with me, I see no reason that they shouldn't have been reimbursed. And in fact, the reason that they pulled out voluntarily from this grant agreement is because they weren't being reimbursed. So as a small grassroots organization, after you expend $20-something thousand over 6 months, And now you have additional responsibilities to fulfill. If you're not getting reimbursed, you're not able to fulfill your duties. You're going to have to pull out, because otherwise you're risking your reputation, what you've promised to do. So from what my understanding is, they have pulled out because the city did not uphold their end of the agreement, and they felt like they were getting discriminatory treatment. They said, I'm sorry, it's still my time.
I'm sorry.
They submitted all of their documents. They had conversations that did not indicate they could not, get reimbursed for the pay already made to contractors. They have been awarded grants through the city previously, have been a partner of the city on multiple grant opportunities. And so it's understandable from their perspective, if they're reading through their documentation and they see nothing in the documentation that outlines the requirements they're being told by the city, but now all of a sudden the city is relying on advice from a consultant that says they have to have policies in place that allow them to grant funds to this organization that the city has previously granted funds to. It's understandable why they would be confused and questioning the intentions of the city. Regardless of the conversations that need to take place moving forward, I don't see how we can approve transferring their funding to another organization until this matter is resolved. And the matter is not resolved currently. According to the Housing and Neighborhood Development Department, is this issue resolved in terms of their reimbursement?
I will say, let me assure you, we've taken every step we could. We wanted them to be involved, and we wanted to bring them into compliance. These expenditures we ran by HUD, and HUD told us no. So we're not in position to reimburse any of those at this time without further documentation. We wish they would have stayed in and grown their capacity, because there would be the opportunity to.
Okay, but let me stop you right there.
Can I finish this sentence?
No, because I only have 1 minute and you get as much time as you want to answer my questions. So I just have to say this, that, even what you said right there, HUD would not accept their expenditures.
It's a document, when you reimburse.
Is it the expenditures or is it the documentation?
It's both. It's both. It's, we're talking without saying what it is. And if you know what it is, let's say when you expend on someone's time, you need to know what they're working on, that sort of things.
And I've seen this.
And right now, we don't have all of that documentation.
And what was said in the timesheets look great. The only thing that we need you to do is, on this 2024 timesheet, say the person came in at 12, they left at 6:30. We need a total number of hours.
Councilmember Parker.
That is not misunderstanding what the money can be spent on. That's not misunderstanding the documentation, and this is hurting reputation of our grassroots organizations in our community when we don't have real, honest conversations here tonight. I have all of the communications.
Thank you, Councilmember Parker. Your time is up. We have other people who've been waiting to speak. Before I call on the next council member to speak, I just wanted to clarify a couple things. We applied for this grant for many consecutive years and didn't get it. And when we finally got it, we were very excited. I remember we had a gathering of the subrecipients at that coffee shop on, it's now closed, on Chapman Highway. maybe some council members were able to attend that. There were several subrecipients there. I think almost all of them. It was their first time ever being a subrecipient for a federal grant. So we provided extra, technical assistance and orientations because we have, I strongly defend our track record of success of providing grant monies to small fledgling organizations, whether they're Black run or white run. And I think My Daughter's Journey is no exception. We've funded them through city grants and have great respect for their work. The standards for federal grants are different and more strict. And we don't want to compromise, we do not want to compromise the grant as a whole by violating or getting in trouble with HUD. We made every effort to help all of the subrecipients be compliant, and unfortunately, in this particular subrecipient's case, it didn't work out. We also have made an effort to help the subrecipient get some support from a private philanthropy to cover the costs that they expended. So we want to support our nonprofits, whether they're big established ones or small fledgling ones, and to build their capacity. Being a HUD subrecipient is more complicated than being a city grant recipient. I'll now call on the other council members in the order in which I saw their lights. First is Councilmember Singh.
Thank you, Mayor. I was going to bring that up about it. I think it's small agencies and organizations that have a really difficult time with this. And I guess my point is this can we fix this?
Yes.
Are they eligible
Yes.
to work on the paycheck issue that they
It's
have?
my understanding that we tried to work with them and then they withdrew from the relationship. Mr. DeBose, is that accurate?
That's correct. That's correct.
The other question, Ms. Ball, you and I spoke about it earlier today. Were they reimbursed for the work that they did?
No.
Through the private donor?
Hi. Hello?
There you go.
This My Daughter's Journey was not directly reimbursed through the HUD grant. However, there were philanthropic dollars that amounted to more than the original request for reimbursement that were obtained and provided by a local philanthropist to support My Daughter's Journey during the time when we had hoped that they could get their paperwork. We understood that there was a delay and that they're a small nonprofit, and that's very hard to stomach, and it's very hard to, have that kind of a cash outlay. And so philanthropic dollars were received by My Daughter's Journey to help provide them with a time frame to be able to get their paperwork in order. However, that never happened, and the paperwork never actually manifested itself My Daughter's Journey chose to sever the relationship, but they did receive the money from the philanthropic organization.
Are we still within any time frame where they can come back to the table and get some more assistance?
Assistance might not be the exact correct word, but I'm going to let Director DeBose address another opportunity for My Daughter's Journey.
Yeah, and what the expenses that are in question, about $20,000. And, this is a $1.7 million demonstration grant that if we perform well, can be a sustainable source for us to, eliminate youth homelessness. My Daughter's Journey can still benefit from these dollars by housing individuals at their location and being reimbursed by CAC, not as a direct, subrecipient, but as, a contractor of CAC. So there's still ways that they can benefit. I want to consider this $20,000, which is less than 1% of this total contract, as a
Once
separate.
again, I'm going to interrupt because I just have another minute.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
So I guess I want a definitive answer on, is it the federal grant the HUD that's saying you haven't done all of the paperwork that we need, therefore the city cannot release it? Or is it the city
Yes.
saying?
Yes.
Okay.
It is, first of all, I have not been presented with an invoice to pay, our department, because it has to follow these procedures, and it needs to, be approved by OHS and HUD, and then it will come to my department to approve. So I don't have anything to pay, and to answer your question definitively is that we've been told that no, that these are not sufficiently from a documentation standpoint ready for reimbursement.
I guess I'm going back to where I was. Are we still within a time frame where they could do? Because the problem that they're having, I have been working on a grant where I had the same exact problem, and you have to come back and work on it over and over. It's just maddening. But people were willing to work with me to get me to that point. What I'm hearing is that Simone has not been coming back to figure this out.
Yeah, she has.
She severed the relationship. There were a period of at least 4 months where there was back and forth of working with her between Kevin's staff, the Office of Housing Stability staff, to try to help get this situation rectified. And in June, don't hold me exactly to the date, but I believe it was June 23rd is the date of the communication we received where she severed the relationship. And because she took herself out of that relationship, we can't put her back in that same way. But there is another path, as Director DeBose just mentioned.
Okay, Councilmember Singh, I'm moving on to the next Councilmember Vice Mayor Smith and then Councilmember Ryder.
Thank you. I just want to make sure I'm understanding. So the city has already funded this organization through other means, non-HUD related grants?
I will mention that Aaron Reed, through the Office of Housing Stability, went out and found some non-federal support to help with the startup expenses.
Okay.
It was expressed by the organization that they would have difficulty operating on a reimbursement level. So, there were some monies paid, and this remaining balance is.
So the city has already, by way of OHS, provided funding to this organization before. They qualify for the 202 funds that met requirements of the city council. It's only these HUD funds that have these specific requirements that say you can't pay people with the Cash App, and therefore they're not. And then the city funded or had a partner fund help to get them in compliance with the requirements of HUD. Reasonably, the applicant had already spent enough money and they said, I don't want to do this anymore, and kind of receded from the opportunity. And now the city's moving on, but there's still another opportunity. Did I get all that
Without
right?
reimbursement.
Yeah, I think.
Without reimbursement. Did I get all that right?
Yeah, for the most part, and I do think that Aaron Reed has done an amazing job of trying to find ways. Even this last solution was something that she came up with today in our conversation.
Okay.
So the desire is to
We want
help.
this organization to be successful. There's specific HUD requirements that they haven't met. The city tried to get them in compliance. They decided not to for good reason or their own reasons. Okay, thank you for that.
Just as a point of information, my daughter's attorney has also been a recipient of city community safety and empowerment funding as well. So we don't have any issue with the organization. It's HUD's requirements that are making this difficult, and then they withdrew before we could rectify it. Councilmember Ryder, okay. Councilmember McKenzie.
Thank you, Mayor. And I really appreciate this conversation. However, it's a little uncomfortable to me for us to be having this in-depth of a conversation about an organization and a person, and they are not here to speak for themselves on what their experience was and that they had full understanding of that. So I'd like to propose maybe there's a meeting that's set up, if you don't mind, to set that up with her and any council members that are interested in being at the table to make sure that she fully understands. I just think that we're getting really in depth, and I don't know that it's not going to change this, because it's HUD. They're HUD required, and they're different. And I do appreciate the fact that philanthropist dollars were found that were able to support her.
That she now has to pay back. Because the city went to that philanthropist and said, oh, well, she dropped out of the program. So now they want her to pay it back.
Well,
I mean, it's like y'all want to shut down this program.
I think that's maybe not correct.
The Lawson Family Foundation?
The philanthropic organization has not requested.
No.
They could.
I saw the email of them asking for their money back. What are you talking about?
Now, Councilmember McKenzie has the floor. Councilmember McKenzie.
At this point, I would like for us to set up a meeting.
Let's
with all
postpone
of
this
those.
item. What's the point of setting up a meeting? and not postponing this
Councilmember
item?
McKenzie has the floor. Councilmember Parker, please let
She
your
was talking
colleagues
directly
speak.
to me. Thank you, Mayor.
I'm just talking in general, but at the end of the day, that's not going to change the outcome of this if it's HUD.
They should be reimbursed.
If the HUD requirement says that they're not meeting all of the requirements.
He didn't say HUD requirements.
Councilmember McKenzie, you have the
can I
floor,
s- can I speak?
and you have another 3 minutes if you want to use
I think we must
it.
have heard different things then. So, Mr. DuBose,
Yes.
HUD requirements are preventing us from paying these. You said that you didn't receive an invoice, but the monies that this organization has spent out.
Yes. No one in the line of processing has felt comfortable enough. And in fact, there have been additional requests for information. And again, I would love for a fully documented invoice to land on my desk, but it to this date has not. I would ask that we consider this a separate issue, because I don't want the $20,000 to threaten our $1.7 million. And our 1.7, I will say that we have 64 youth that are in the YHDP program right now. 28 have exited into permanent housing. 0 have returned to homelessness. So it's an effective program, and HUD's going to want us, to utilize these fundings, all of our funding, to demonstrate that we're a good partner in this. And so, we will continue separately working on that.
And this is like year 1 of a 3-year grant cycle?
This is
or year
in the
2?
first year we've
First
had
year.
this success. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember we're very excited to have that support. Councilmember McKenzie, anything further before I move on?
No, again, like I said, I just don't, I feel like we're really getting into an in-depth conversation and talking about the organization and the director of that organization. Without that person being here, I just don't know that and it sounds like there's some disconnects somewhere. So it sounds like we've done some due diligence in helping this person. But again, if people around this table are not all comfortable with that, I think setting up a meeting and inviting council members who would like to attend and sunshine it might be appropriate to maybe even help her understand further. Thank you.
And also, she's welcome, the organization's welcome to apply to other city locally funded grant opportunities like she already has and been awarded. So that could be another avenue for her. Councilmember Fugit.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. DuBose, I want to make sure I understand one thing. I believe what I heard you say is that HUD requirement says if someone wants to use a cash app, then the procurement policies of the HUD grant recipient, which would be the city of Knoxville, must have as its fiduciary rules a policy allowing cash apps for any and all payment
That's
strategies,
correct.
which is what the city does not have, which I think is a very wise decision because that is prudent. So with that, I'm going to call the question.
Okay, motion is to call for the question. It's not debatable. All those in favor of the motion to call for the question, please say aye. Any opposed?
I'm opposed. I've had my light on. I had another
Call
comment
for the
to make.
question carries. So now we're voting on the original motion on the floor, which was in favor of item, is it 12N? 12N. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed?
No.
Motion carries 7-1-1. Oh, 7-2-1. Oh, no, 7-1-2.
And it will be better for our HUD chances if we don't get rid of the justice-impacted-led groups, the Black-led groups. We include them in the description in the proposal, but then we get rid of them when they don't perform. That's not going to help us to
Thank
get
you.
renewed funding
This
from
motion
HUD.
has carried. We'll move on to the next item, please.
12O is a resolution authorizing the acquisition by condemnation, if necessary, of a fee simple interest in certain property located at 3910 Carnation Drive, believed to be owned by Joanne Bruce, deceased, at the estimated cost of $36,000, as recommended by the Abandoned, Blighted, and Vacant Properties Committee.
Motion made to approve and seconded. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Council members, I think that after 2+ hours, it's time for a short recess. Let's reconvene at 8:20, please. Council members, it's 8:21. We've had our 10-minute recess. Let's move back to the meeting, please. Reconvene.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I see 4, I see 5. Okay, we can go. We have a quorum.
12O is a resolution authorizing acquisition by condemnate. We've already approved this one. Is that right? Yes. 12P is a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Calyptus Consulting Group Incorporated to provide professional consulting services to Knoxville Area Transit in order to perform Title VI program review in an amount not to exceed $60,140.
Motion made to approve and seconded. Councilmember Parker.
Thank you, Mayor. I had some questions about this process. First off, I was worried about the timeline. It seems that this, oh goodness, where is it? Yeah, this Title VI program review, including a public input process and time to incorporate that public input into the final report, would all be wrapped up by February. And I was a little concerned about that timeline. Has there been a date set for the public input process?
Mr. Thorne, if you could please come to the podium and
Yes,
address that
Isaac
question.
Thorne, Director of Knoxville Area Transit. So I sent council an email, I think you're referring to that, council member, regarding the public participation plan. There is not a public process for our Title VI program. It's just a public participation plan that we have to have documented inside of that plan. I think in terms of timeline, we should be fine to be able to submit that February 1st to the FTA for review. One thing we do have to get accomplished between if council approves this, we have to get the writer survey done before February 1st.
A writer survey. Okay, what I was referring to is in the contract. Let's see, where is it? Oh, man. Oh, it's gonna take me a minute to find it. Okay, I'm not finding the language. I am finding the Title VI plan, the public participation plan, and the limited English proficiency plan. Oh, it was the timeline that I was looking at. I think that's at the end. where it has mapped out what will happen when. Oh, Lord. Oh, yeah, it's in the. Okay, project schedule. Conduct any required public outreach and engagement for program development. Conduct the cashless fare analysis on potential disparate impacts. Incorporate any public feedback into the Title VI program and prepare a nearly finalized program for review and approval by the CAT committee and the board. What is intended by this public outreach and engagement?
That's what's due. So the first part of this contract is to review our current Title VI program by February 1st. And then we would look at doing going back out to the public to do a cashless fare analysis. That's due on May 1st. So there's two parts to this.
Okay, gotcha. And the outreach that has to be completed by February 1st?
So that would, the outreach would actually take place during the cashless fare analysis, basically. That would be the second part of this contract. The first part is just reviewing our current Title VI program to make sure there are any areas for improvement and what we've already have done, and then also doing the rider survey, which will come up with the demographic information that we need to submit to FTA.
Okay, gotcha. Well, one thing that I pulled from this is about not only disparate impacts, but the words are escaping me, but what I wanted to lift up is that during some recent schedule changes from CAT, I've received complaints that there have been passengers not informed of the new schedule, riders that have been waiting on buses for more than 30 minutes, but not having someone on the platform to communicate to riders about schedule changes. Have you heard these complaints as well?
I've not heard those complaints, but we just made this shift starting on Monday that we're having now our supervisors, our road supervisors, actually go to the platform, but only at 15 and 45 minutes after the hour. So they're still having a presence on the platform, but we're trying to efficiently use them not only to support our operators, but also our passengers. So we're using our road supervisors, but also as platform supervisors. So they're having a dual role.
Okay.
Thank you, Councilmember Parker. Thank you, Mr. Thorne. I don't see any other lights on. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
12Q is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with Kim Atkins on behalf of the Capital Strategy Group, LLC, in an amount of $72,000 to provide governmental relations services for the city of Knoxville.
Motion made to approve and seconded. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
12R is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with Cornerstone Government Affairs Incorporated in the amount of $180,000 to provide governmental relations services for the city of Knoxville.
Motion made to approve and seconded. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
12S is the resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an operating contract with the Public Building Authority of the County of Knox and the City of Knoxville, Tennessee, to provide development management, limited security, and maintenance of City of Knoxville-owned or leased property.
Motion made to approve and seconded. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
12T is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with John Bouchard and Sons Co. for the Knoxville Municipal Golf Course Irrigation Project for an amount not to exceed $244,735.47.
Motion made to approve and seconded. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
12U is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with Knoxville, Knox County Planning to provide an amount not to exceed $700,000 to fund an update to the comprehensive plan for the city of Knoxville.
Move to approve.
Motion made to approve and seconded. Councilmember Ryder.
Yeah, I just wonder if we could get a little bit of detail about what the plans are and the format for this, nothing lengthy. My one question is about the time frame. The Recode project, I believe, ended up going way beyond and took quite a lengthy amount of time, and due to all the meetings that had to happen. So what exactly is the plan, the time frame, and how will that be executed?
Well, thank you for that question, Councilmember Ryder. I'll let Director Brooks provide details, but just so you know, we plan to get this started and take all due time to have a lot of community input on this. This is something that this council knows we very much need to update the comprehensive plan. And I met with Director Brooks yesterday to talk a little bit about timeline. My understanding is you already have the RFP out for some outside helpers to help us run the public process and so forth. And those are due January 7th or 8th, I believe, the responses.
January 8th. That's correct.
And then can you just share with council a little bit about the projected timeline? Obviously, sometimes hiccups happen and things take a little longer than we expect, but can you share with them the projected timeline for this process?
Yes. For this particular process, we're hoping to have a draft plan by the end of next year. So this time next year to have a draft plan ready for the adoption process to go through Planning Commission and City Council.
Okay, so it's not have everything voted on and moved all through all the bodies.
No, we really need to have a robust community engagement process, and so that'll take a number of months.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Fugit.
Thank you. Councilwoman Ryder asked my questions. My overarching concern about this is based on the amount of time we spend on land use. Mm-hmm. And yes, we want this done quickly, but it has to be done correctly. And I look forward to a very detailed public process plan from the consultant, and probably would suggest that in future councils, they might want some workshops with Planning Commission about how this is going to work, because this is an opportunity to do public process very thoroughly again, like in Recode, and it is important. So I'm passionate about that, and glad to hear you answered the question that perhaps you already have RFPs in place, because I'm thinking there's no way, this might not finish till I get off council. So I'm glad to hear that that is already going forward, and look forward to the actual timeline of the public process and how it's going to be publicized in a broad fashion. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Singh.
Thank you, Mayor. There's this saying, when's the best time to plant an apple tree 20 years ago? When's the second best time now? It's kind of how I feel about this comprehensive plan. We should have been doing this a long time ago. The housing crisis has been around for a few years now. But like I said, it's better that we are actually getting to this. One of the things that really upsets me when I think about Knoxville now versus 8 years ago when I got on council, I couldn't afford to move to the city right now. I would not have chosen to come back from New York to live here because I can't afford it. There's just not the amount of housing that we need. So just think about the people that we're missing out on because of our housing costs. So yeah, I'm glad we're working on it. But even though we need to be thorough, I do think we need to have a sense of urgency.
Thank you. Councilmember Parker.
Thank you, Mayor. So we are voting on 700,000 to fund this process. There's also 712,000 committed from TPO dollars. So around 1.4 million. One thing that I noticed in this process is that planning would hire the consultant. I had a few questions about that. That is different than how Recode was pursued. Am I remembering that correctly?
Director Brooks, I was not here during Recode, so can you update us on that if you recall?
Knoxville County Planning managed the consultant for the update to the ordinance.
Okay, so this will be similar to how planning pursued hiring a consultant, developing a public process for Recode.
Yes, and we did that in close coordination, of course, with city as well.
Okay, good to know. And then when planning hires the consultant, does it come before city council for approval? Or is that separate from?
And no, it does not come before city council, but
Okay.
obviously we will keep you all informed along the way. We would want you to meet the consultant team that is brought on.
Yeah, well, one thing, I wasn't on council during Recode, but one thing that was noticed by the community and raised as at times a concern was the perceived expertise of certain consulting firms and different projects that they've worked on and what ideas they might be bringing to Knoxville. And Recode's a little bit different than this comprehensive plan, but very, very similar. Does planning already have a sense of what criteria you have in mind for a consultant to help lead this process?
The RFP is on the planning website. Director Brooks?
Yes, we have evaluation criteria associated. We don't have like specific, in a project like this, the reason we do these RFP is because we want to see who actually submits and to be able to evaluate them and what they've done in the past. So we'll be looking at their overall approach to the project, and we'll be looking at their timeline, what they anticipate. The public and stakeholder engagement will play a large role, so we'll want to see what they're proposing for that, and a detailed description of any kind of key deliverables. Obviously, consultants who do this type of work have done, they might have best practices that they'll want to bring to the table, and that will all be part of the discussion. So we'll also be looking for a description of their firm and who we would be working with on a daily basis.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you.
Councilmember Fugit.
Thank you. Just a point of clarification. I believe Recode, the contract was actually hired by the city and planning managed it, but the contract did come back before the city and the city actually hired the consultant. The city is not a party to that, and city council will not approve it like they did on Recode. This is going solely through the planning commission, correct?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say thank you, Director Brooks, for taking on this effort. It was a priority of council for a couple of years now, particularly at the retreat in February. We said this was at the top. And Mayor, I want to thank you and Director Brooks for taking this on. Subsequent councils will thank you, or they should.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. And council members, I just want you to know this is a huge priority for our community. This council has said so. The next, the 5 new incoming council members, if they're not already aware, are going to be well aware that these land use issues require our attention and comprehensive update to how we deal with land use and transportation and so forth. So I'm really excited about this and committed to bringing council along as much time and energy as you can put into this, and that we can engage the community, every sector, every part of the community across the city. The more voices we hear from, the better, because this is the kind of plan that can set the stage and tone for future land use decisions for the next 20, 40 years. And if we get it right, it'll be really good for our city. So I'm committed to getting that input and keeping council involved and engaged. And throughout the process, not just at the end, at every step of the way, as many meetings that we need for, council members, but out in the community. We want to get this right. I want to get this right so that it's maybe a little boring at the end instead of contentious. Recode, I wasn't mayor at the time, but it seemed like it got really challenging at the end. And if we do this right, hopefully at the end of the process, the adoption will be like everybody said, yeah, this is consensus. I don't agree with all of it, but I agree with 80% of it, and so I'm going to support this. That's the goal. There'll be no document that anybody agrees 100% with, but consensus does not mean unanimous alignment. It just means consensus. So that's the goal. Thank you for putting this in the budget. This was already in the budget, and we're very grateful that TPO is participating as well. That's a really big help for the transportation side of it. Seeing no further lights on, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Y is an ordinance to close a portion of Eleanor Street adjacent to City Block 11662, lying immediately east of properties 911 and 917 Eleanor Street, 081ML009 and 081ML007, and authorizing the mayor to execute quitclaim deeds to the adjacent property owners.
Motion made to approve and seconded. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
13Z is an ordinance to close a portion of Fort Dickerson Road adjacent to City Block 25310, lying immediately west of Tax ID 109HA026, and authorizing the mayor to execute quitclaim deeds to the adjacent property owners' First District.
Motion made to approve and seconded. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
13AF is an emergency ordinance of the Council of the City of Knoxville appropriating the sum of blank dollars from the Community Improvement Fund and donating same to community agencies and organizations as set forth in the attachment.
Motion made to approve and seconded. Vice Mayor Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. As I mentioned, Council, you should each have a copy of the 202 details in front of you. Hopefully you've had a chance to review your contributions. There's no disagreement. I'd like to make a motion to substitute the ordinance with the attachment in front of you being distributed in place of the pending ordinance.
Okay, motion made to substitute in what you have on the original with the one that you have before you on paper has been made and seconded. Does everyone understand the motion? All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. So the substitute motion, is there a motion on the substitute motion? Motion made to approve as substituted. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Now we have public forum. First person signed up to speak at public forum is Kent Minot. You can start by stating your name and address for the record. You'll have up to 3 minutes to address council.
Yeah, I'm Kent Minot. I live at 311 West Glenwood Avenue in Knoxville. And good evening, Mayor, City Council members. Came down here tonight to say something nice. I have no complaint in the world. Mayor Kincannon, thank you very much for inviting me to participate in the Breathe Knoxville Advisory Committee. I work with Dawn Michelle Foster, Grace Levin, Ali Kitron, Amy Brooks, and especially the many community members who engaged in long and detailed conversations. The process was serious and intense. And the thing that impressed me the most was that in the aftermath of a wrenching political change in our nation, nobody even thought about stopping or slowing down even. When the final Breathe Plan was launched on November 5th, our kind of new sustainability director, Patience Melnick, asked us all to spread the report far and wide So I'm going to ask you to do two things tonight. Read the report, and talk about it. Here's why. The report pushes calmly against the storm of anti-climate executive orders and propaganda, trying to convince us that climate crisis is a hoax and that solar and wind don't work. More reliable sources of information tell us things like how widely deployed solar energy in California has caused a 25% drop in 1 year in methane consumption for grid electrification, or how new Perscovite solar panels are practically doubling panel efficiency, or the giant rows of batteries in the Southern California desert for 4 hours after sunset that regularly push electricity stored from the day's solar generation into Los Angeles to keep millions of homes, film studios, and ports all functioning smoothly. That LA will likely meet its 100% clean energy goal even sooner than the 2035 deadline. Now, we're not LA, but we have significant solar resources being built right now that promise to make Knoxville Utilities Board a solar leader in the Southeast. This year, 3,000 homes in the KUB service area have been weatherized to help residents save on their utility bills. Our city has free EV chargers in parks and public garages right now, 41 of them. But the plan is not just a report on what we have, it's a plan for the future with specific numerical goals and deadlines. The trick for us is to find ways to meet them because, as we know, a lot of the federal funding for green infrastructure has been cut. We have to do it with local resources, sometimes individual resources.
Thank you so much. That concludes your time. Yeah, we appreciate it. Next is Amber Okerson. You have, please state your name and address for the record, and you'll have up to 3 minutes to address council.
Yes, my name is Amber Okerson, 802 Airport Road, Oakdale, Tennessee. First, I'd like to thank you, Mayor, for your time and the complete board, police officers, and everybody this evening. I'd like to say happy holidays, and I'd also give thanks to God for the courage to stand before you. My name is Amber Okerson, and I'm a civil rights advocate. I need to provide public notice to the city of Knoxville. This is in accordance with the USCS Rules of Civil Procedures, as well as Rule 17 and Rule 20 in the United States Supreme Court. The Constitution of the United States has an overarching requirements that each state must follow. States cannot enact their own alternative legislation substitute for the guarantees of the Constitution of the United States. That would mean that the states are more powerful than the Constitution, and that is unlawful. Clause 1 of Amendment 5 states that no person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless presented by an indictment by a grand jury. However, the state of Tennessee has enacted its own alternative legislation that permits prosecuting attorneys and police officers to change by the way of information and opposals to the indictment. That is unconstitutional. An emolument violation is when you pay a public official to break the law. That Constitution has two areas that enforce this. Article 1, Section 10. No state shall create any law that shall impair the obligation of contracts. Police officers, prosecutors, judges are all under that contract, and a contract to perform based on the oath and affirmation that they took to support and defend the Constitution. Contract perimeters are defined within the Constitution of the United States, and when a state enacts an inferior law that directs the agents to disobey the Constitution of the United States, that is a violation of Article 1, Section 10. The 14th Amendment is the other place that you will find the reinforcement of these issues, and that is where it states, no state shall create or force any law that shall abridge the privileges or immunities of the United States citizens. The privileges and immunities of the United States citizens are at a minimum. Those emanated with the Bill of Rights and the first 10 amendments. Unfortunately, the state of Tennessee hasn't enacted a law in its inferior constitution that permits public officials, judges, law enforcement officers, and whom which you all pay, to violate the Constitution of the United States. As a result, there is an inordinate amount of people currently imprisoned in the state of Tennessee illegally and unconstitutionally. Mr. Downing is lighting this issue in the United States Supreme Court. I am here to notify you that if you continue to pay public officials to break the law, criminal sanctions can come of that.
Thank you, Ms. Okerson. That concludes your time.
Thank you.
Next person is Kevin James.
I have a paper to present to
The next person. Kevin James? Is Kevin James present? Mr. James, you please state your name and address for the record, and you have up to 3 minutes to address council. There's a little button near the base of the microphone to turn the microphone on. No, it'll turn red now.
There
it's
we go.
on.
You can hear me
Yeah,
now.
thank you.
Hello. Hi, guys. Thank you very much, and thank you all for coming this evening, and thank you for having us here. Thank you for allowing us to speak, too. And also, too, I want to applaud the children that were here present before us, because it's necessary for a society to look after their children. And, greetings on this December 9th. My name is Kevin James, and I'm a civil rights advocate that I'm also here, too, to provide notice for the accordance of USC Rule of Civil Procedure, as well as Rule 17 and Rule 20 from the United States Supreme Court. The Constitution of the United States is the supreme law of the land. No state, no county, and no court of the authority to create or enforce policies that contradict the Constitution or deprive citizens of their secured and protected rights. Yes, that is happening every day here in family and juvenile courts across our country, and also in the state of Tennessee and in the county. Across this nation, children are being removed from their fit and loving parents, not for abuse and not for danger, but for profit. And it's due to the financial incentives associated to the Title IV D&E money that's federally funded. And that incentivizes communities to receive financial incentives to remove the children and to separate them, and for adoption of children too. This means that the system profits when a family is torn apart. Just like those children sitting over there, they could be future members of that this could happen to them. And that's what we're here too, to be community advocates for that, to prevent that to happen to other children. It is true that a portion of this budget, of this city and county budget, contributes to the operation of the very courts participating in the unlawful removal of the children from fit, loving, and loyal, healthy parents without due process and without jury trials and without procedure of evidence. When government's officials, including judges, attorneys, the clerk of the court, law enforcement, and city-funded agencies knowingly and negligently deprive citizens of their rights, which two or more agents operate in the color of the law, deprive the children of the right, and it can be a criminal conspiracy under 18 U.S.C. 241. When states, cities, and counties, actors deprive individuals of rights in the exchange of the federal financial gains, which conducts constitutional and unlawful emoluments under Article 1, Section 10. This is also a pattern, right-based exploration, which many cases, including kidnapping, bribery, extortion, and sometimes murder, otherwise known as RICO, racketeering and corruption. Under Title 18 U.S.C. 4, misimprisonment of felony, whereas made aware of federal crimes and fails to report it to the proper authorities.
Thank you, Mr. James. That concludes your time.
Well, thank you, guys. Y'all have a good evening.
Okay, next is Tanawa Downing.
Good evening. My name is Tanawa Downing, and I'm a civil rights advocate and litigator out of Washington, D.C. Address is 152 Wayne Place, Southeast, Washington, D.C. 20032. So I need to provide a little bit of clarification so we can understand what was just said and what we're actually asking from the body here. So no state can create its own alternative legislation, substitute that for the guarantees of the Constitution, and go out and enforce that. That would obviously be a violation of the 14th Amendment, just as they said. So I have approximately 22,000 criminal affidavits on behalf of victims. These are actual verifiable complaints from victims that have been charged by way of information as opposed to indictment from right here within the state of Tennessee. Many are from within Knox County. I'm not here to get anybody into trouble, but we need to make sure that we understand that when we pay people to abridge their constitutional obligations, a crime's been committed. So these affidavits, they identify two crimes in particular. The first is Title 18 U.S.C. subsection 242, which is deprivation of rights under color of law. What that statute states is that when any person who, under the color of any state statute, ordinance, custom, or regulation deprives any person of any right secured by the Constitution commits that crime. Now, the second crime is Title 18 U.S.C. subsection 241, which is conspiracy to deprive of rights. What that states is that when two or more persons conspire with the purpose of depriving any person of any right secured by the Constitution commits that crime. Now, the laws of criminal conspiracy with regard to public officials, that's all of you, that states that any person who, having knowledge of any of the wrongs conspired to be done and who have the power to prevent or aid in the prevention of the commission of same, neglects or refuses to do so, may be joined to dispense the action. So upon having been provided with this notice, letting you know that you guys are paying the police department to go out and execute warrants or arrests in violation of the Constitution of the United States by charging by way of information as opposed to indictment, I'd ask you guys, please, let's work together to fix this problem. Right? We can do that. We really can, but we got to work together to do that. So I know that you're going to go to the attorney as soon as we're done. You're going to ask that attorney whether or not what I'm saying is true. And and that attorney is going to point you to a case from 1884 from the United States Supreme Court called Hurtado versus California. Before you choose to rely upon that as the foundation, I must remind every single one of you that the Constitution of the United States of America is the foundation, not a judge-made ruling. The Supreme Court of the United States has no constituted authority to be able to alter, amend, or destroy any of the provisions or guarantees of the Constitution because that must be done by an authentic and explicit act of people in accordance with the special amending procedure of Article 5. So I know that this is a tough decision. As soon as we're done here, you're going to have to make a decision whether you're going to go and follow a judge-made ruling, the lowest form of law, or the Constitution of the United States of America, the object to which your fidelity is bound. But I'm going to pray that you guys make the right decision. But I want to leave you with this, okay? The United States Circuit Court has identified a two-part test used to determine abuse of discretion. And it states that an erroneous view of the law is an automatic abuse of discretion. Now, an erroneous view of the law would be that in your legal contemplation and considering the merits of this discussion here, that you rely upon the lowest form of law instead of the Constitution of the United States of America. That would be an obvious erroneous view of the law. Therefore, if you continue to pay these public officials to abridge their constitutional obligations, that an automatic abuse of discretion will have occurred in accordance with the United States Circuit Court. Thank you guys so much. God bless.
Next is Audrey Buchanan. Ms. Buchanan, if you could state your name and address for the record, and you'll have up to 3 minutes to address council.
Good evening. My name is Aubrey Buchanan. I'm a U.S. Navy veteran, a combat veteran. I'm here to advocate for the citizens of Tennessee and also as a citizen of Arkansas as well. My experience is the family fraud, and as a victim, as others, to the annihilation of the family structure. There's no need for funds if we don't have a family institution that's stabilized. And I'm advocating for the citizens because I took an oath, under the Constitution of the United States to serve and protect against foreign and domestic enemies. And as of right now that I see those enemies within the state misappropriating funds instead of supporting our families, annihilating, racketeering, trafficking, and kidnapping our children to be abused by predators. And I'm also been a victim of that and a survivor of that. And all my years as a combat veteran, never have I seen the annihilation of a family structure in what I would consider the family genocide of the American people. And so I would behoove you so that you take in these council seats to seem to care about your people and not brag about how much money you make or how much money they appropriate to different institutions as a housing. If you don't have a family structure, there's no way for you to do that. There won't be no family for you to be able to supply generations to support the states. And it has to go back to caring. If you care, it's going to come forth and manifest in the way we treat our people. Going back to allowing the people to have rights and freedoms to take care of their children and not be orchestrated to them being taken into different institutions and being injured and being hurt, with generations continue to be violated. And so I just behoove you to look into what the reason why you have this seat, the reason why you decided to take your time and your energy and your livelihood and purpose to serve your community, because there's no honor in this. We just had Veterans Day. There's no honor. I didn't take an oath for that. For the families of the United States of America to be an American genocide on families and violating our rights continuously. For my son was kidnapped and violated and assaulted and to predators and to a system where we have no voice. And so I'm here to advocate for every single American to rely on the fact that the United States Constitution has to be fulfilled, has to be applied, or we have no rights, we have no voice, and we have no future for the children of America to be loved and cared for. So I take it in hand to everyone to look into the fact of if you care, it's going to show in the proof of the families and in healing the families and supplying for them a future that makes sense to them. Where instead of alienating them and to a predator system of a diabolical system.
Thank you. Your time is up. Next person is Jessica Saxton. Ms. Saxton, if you could come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and you'll have up to 3 minutes to address council.
Thank you so much. My name is Jessica Saxton. I'm also a civil rights advocate out of Washington, D.C. This shoe of this little toddler, it was found outside Blount County Juvenile Court today. This now represents the children who never make it home. And unfortunately, in this city, you guys not only don't care about the smallest citizens, but you're profiting off of the smallest citizens. You know, the majority of children who are kidnapped and go missing, they're not kidnapped by people who are walking down the street in hoodies. They're not kidnapped out of convenience stores or your local restaurants. They're kidnapped by state agents who are working under the color of law. Your CPS workers, your guardian ad litems, your judges, your attorneys, all of these people are complicit in these crimes. The highest rate, some of the highest rates for foster care placements are right here in East Tennessee. That's a national statistic. Some of those counties include Knox, Anderson, Loudoun, Sevier, Union, Granger, Jefferson, and Blount. Ms. Parker, it is disgusting that this county shut you down and this council shut you down when you started to question the missing and exploited children that are happening right here in this city. And Ms. Parker, I want to encourage you that you are on the right path, that your questioning of where are these children is correct. And please do not forego that feeling that you have that needs to be investigated. One of the former members that just spoke mentioned 18 USC subsection 242, the deprivation of rights under the color of law. In the event that your rights are deprived and kidnapping occurs, there's penal fines with that, and there's 3 of them. One is fines, one is prison, and the other is death. These are not my laws. These are the laws of the United States. Juror said, the law is hard, but it is the law. I think that we, the people, are done with our rights being deprived as parents and our children being kidnapped through the system. And I think that there's some changes that need to be made. This is absolutely Operation Grey Lord 2.0, and I pray that every single one of you choose to do the right thing.
Next person signed up for public forum is Rico Hopewell. Is Rico Hopewell present? Had to leave. Cynthia Finch. Is Ms. Finch present? Ms. Finch, if you could come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and you'll have up to 3 minutes to address council.
Good afternoon. My name is Cynthia Finch. I live at 201 Delta Road in Holston Hills. I am here representing several organizations. One, the Faith Leaders Initiative, founded and designed along with Representative Councilwoman McKenzie, Kiera Wyatt, and Dr. Keith Gray. The Burlington Business District Association, I serve as a president. I am the executive director of New Directions. I am here with good news. Thank you, those council that are rolling off this council. To Mr. Tommy Smith, to Andrew Roboto, Lauren Ryder, Seema Sings, and my own 6th District Representative, Ms. Gwen McKenzie. Thank you so very much for your work, your commitment to this city of Knoxville. I'm here to talk about the I Love Burlington. My intent is to make sure, Mr. Tommy Smith, that you get your button. I will leave this with you tonight. I only have one, but every council member will receive a I Love Burlington button. We thank you for your vote on tonight about the streetscape. I want to say thank you to Mr. David Brace and his department, Mr. Grant Rosenberg, and Ms. Kenya Middlebrook for all the work and diligent work that you're doing for the Burlington community. We are on, like the mayor says, this is our time. We are so happy about the streetscape. The dirt is rolling right along with the fire hall. It's looking good. Mr. Grant, we thank you. You give us information that it will be finished by 2026. We're excited about that. But one or two other issues still exist in the Burlington community. The Greyhound bus station. We're looking forward to getting some type of report, a positive report, because it is cold outside. This past Monday, it was raining and there were citizens sitting on the bus stop in the rain, very, very cold. Very, very too cold. I'm worried about that situation. So I am anxiously awaiting a report. I did receive, as the president of the Burlington Business District, a letter from the Greyhound bus station saying that they are in negotiations soon to be signed. And we hope that they're not telling the LIE on that. So I'll be waiting. Mr. David Brace, he's watching to make sure that we get an answer for that. Lastly, I'd like to invite you all personally to Christmas in Burlington, December the 20th. I know it was announced earlier, from 12 noon to 3 p.m. There will be music, vendors, food, Santa Claus, food giveaways by Second Harvest, and we'll also be giving flu shots. So we have good things going on in Burlington, and once again, you will be receiving your button. Christmas in Burlington. I love Burlington. Lots of good things are going on in Burlington. Thank you.
Thank you. Council members, that concludes public forum. And I think now would be a nice opportunity if council members have some parting words they wanted to say at their last official meeting, or those who are staying on wanted to say things I don't know. This is, I have some things I would like to say, but I don't need to go first.
I'm going to go first before anybody makes me cry.
Okay.
I'm just going to be very brief and thank my husband, who hasn't had dinner, for sitting back there all this time and making their own dinners for 9 years. For those of us who are up here, we realize that we campaign for a year before we get here, and then we're here for 8 years. So thank you. And it's been a pleasure to work with you all, and I will definitely miss the zoning discussions and maybe not as much some of the other things.
Councilmember Fugit.
No, you won't miss the zoning discussions because I'm calling you. I've told Councilwoman Ryder that it's really nice having her right here because as a librarian, she does lots of research, and I have benefited from that. And it will not violate sunshine for me to call her about anything now. So I look forward to that. No, I just want to say that it has been a real privilege, and it has enriched my life to know you and serve with you. The beautiful thing about elected office is that you come together with people who love the community that you might not have met otherwise. Day-to-day life keeps you in your profession or in your volunteer work or whatever it is you do, but being on city council forces you to get out of that. Actually doesn't force you, it allows you to get out of that and meet people all across the city. But the people I have met that I have enjoyed the most and appreciate the friendships that I will miss, but if we're intentional, we won't miss each other, are serving with U5. And it is a reminder to me the great trust that the community places in us. I love, although sometimes I may not show it, I do love rich debate because in the end, we're still colleagues. And I think we are practicing what we want our young people to learn, which is respectful disagreement leads to better decisions and better governance. And I appreciate getting to do that with you and look forward to bringing on 5 people in in introducing them to this grand tradition that we have called City Council in Knoxville. So thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'll take a moment to say I've had the opportunity to serve with you all side by side in this room and outside in the community the last 6 years, and we've been through a lot of challenging times. So I think sometimes you remember the searing times a little more than the happy times, but we've had both, and I think it's important to say that I really appreciate all of your work in the last 8 years. The 2 years before I took office, I was watching and paying attention. Thank you for doing RECODE before I became mayor. Thank you. But we all have our hard things to do. But after the challenges of meeting remotely for 18 months, I think, and dealing with the horrors of the increase in violence that we experienced in 2020 and 2021. Together, this council and our administration acted. We have a lot to be proud of. When I talk to community members, the things that I hear over and over again when I was running and now in the last 6 years, and I know you have too, is the two things on people's mind the most is housing and public safety. And this council has responded to both of those crises, and we're making great strides. I mean, this council, I can't speak to, the whole 8 years, but I know in the last 6 years, we've helped create over 3,000 new affordable homes, and that's not even to count all of the homes that have been created that aren't defined as affordable, but are still more places for people to live, that are freeing up rentals and affordable homes for other people. When we had students at Austin East getting killed, this council passed $1 million to be spent. We weren't sure how, but you were like, we're not going to let money be the obstacle to saving the lives of the people in our community. And we've used that money to start the Office of Community Safety, which has been led so effectively by LaKenya Middlebrook, and now is the Office of Community Safety and Empowerment. There's just, and now, I don't know what we do without them. The Project TLCs, which has been so successful at providing some tender loving care in some of the neighborhoods that have the most violence, is working. And the trust levels in our community, thanks to the Office of Community Safety, thanks to the support that we've given the Knoxville Police Department, the Knoxville Fire Department, when people call 911, they know they're going to get someone to respond. And something also to be proud of is we are going to be at full authorized staff in the police department for the first time in decades, and we're one of the only cities in the nation that can say that. And that's because you all insisted that we have high-quality equipment, high-quality competitive salaries, and that we train and have great leadership for our department. So I just want to say that none of this would be possible without our partnership. Everything has to be passed through the budget and passed with consensus building. And I just want to say it's been a pleasure working with all of you. I'm looking forward to working with the 4 of you who are returning for the rest of the 2 years, and we got 5 new people. It's going to be nothing constant but change, but we won't be strangers, and I look forward to staying in touch. And all of you are welcome to come to all the community meetings on the comprehensive plan and all the council meetings. Mr. Frost.
Thank you, Mayor. When each of y'all came on city council, whether you were elected or appointed, we went to lunch, and we went to a working lunch. And I would bring with me city council agenda and a beer board agenda and plop them down on the table and go over them. And most of the time, just like I'm getting with the people who are getting ready to replace you, I'd get this wide-eyed look. And I was like, the agenda that I'm showing the incoming people was a mere 600 pages. And I was like, oh, it's nothing to have an agenda that's not over 1,000 pages. And it hits you, okay, this is becoming real. There's a fire hose that's getting ready to get turned on me. But one thing I mention to everyone is public service is a baton passing exercise. Your predecessors handed you their baton, and you're supposed to take it and run with it and do what you think is best for the city. Now you're getting ready to hand it off to 5 new people. Counted it up. If you're here for 2 terms, you had combined 290 city council and beer board meetings. That's a lot of time. That doesn't get into workshops, audit committee, CAT, public property naming committee, and all the other things, pension board, and all those other exciting things. So you just think about the phone calls, the emails, the DMs, bumping into people in the store, and how many hours you've spent trying to help somebody out, trying to help somebody listen to their situation, trying to understand somebody's situation, and trying to advocate for them. There are businesses, there are neighborhoods, there are people, there are organizations that come and they need help or they want to help the city. And you all listen to them. You obviously don't always all agree. Remember, I also told you, you're everybody's friend until you cast your first vote, then it's downhill from there. And that's the truth. So when I was looking at the 5 people leaving tonight, we're saying goodbye to 3 vice mayors, 2 beer board chairs, and my good friend Seema, who actually might be the smartest of them all. Right, I know you had golf. But the thing with council that's important, it's not the title, it's the role, it's the effort, it's the hard work that each and every one of you all have put in. And I have no doubt, talking with people, that each and every one of you have worked very, very hard, very long hours, often not being thanked, often being beat upon, often being blamed for things that you've had nothing to do with, and not complimented enough. I mean, Tommy came to city council as an appointee, and he was basically dropped on a buzzsaw of a land use dispute, and he probably wondered, what in the blue blazes have I got myself in? That was a tough one to get involved in, thrown into the middle of the fire. But you worked hard. On occasion, you went out of town for business, but people couldn't tell that because you were so in touch with the community. And now you get the chance to go coach more of your kids' games, see more of their events. Andrew, man, loved to roll up his sleeves and try to find a compromise on a land use issue. Going out with that, being up to the task on recode, I swear. How many times was recode brought up tonight? Too many times. That was a flashback. Lauren and I were talking about the group photo that she said was at 1 a.m. when everybody was here working on recode. Andrew was great. He was the one who kept me on the phone the longest time about zoning issues, and today was just the same. Seema, I tell you what, I'm really going to miss our phone calls together. What people probably don't know, Seema and I really would have good conversation about what's going on in the city, what's going on in the community. Seema helped me understand her perspective, where she came from, far better than I could by myself. I'll miss those phone calls. I can't think of a member of city council, past or present, that hasn't worked harder on the scourge of domestic violence and trying to address it than Seema. Now, Lauren, here's another good lover of zoning. Another good lover of the process of recode, who appreciates committees, who would sign up to be on any committee that you asked her to be on. Lauren's going 900 miles an hour all the time, whether it's community, it's city council, it's trying to renovate a house. I always appreciated talking to Lauren, like, she could be laying tile at the time, or you'd hear a table saw going in the background because she was at some house trying to get it renovated. Gwen appropriately pointed out that she was the first African member, female, 6th District representative on City Council. What a lot of people don't realize is that the 6th District is the largest geographic district in the city of Knoxville. It's the only district that touches on the 5 other districts. Gwen's got a lot of territory to cover, a lot of territory to represent, whether it's downtown, goes out to Sutherland Avenue, in West Knoxville, goes out Burlington, part of Holston Hills. And Gwen represented it well. Gwen would take on hard issues. I remember her not liking the idea of gun shows being at Chilhowie Park after that area had been unfortunately named a gun zone. And Gwen saw that as like, okay, if the city shouldn't be doing something like this, allowing these type of events. And I appreciated Gwen's leadership on that. Even though, a little bit like what was said earlier, we're thanking the 5 departing members tonight, we're also thanking their family and their friends who have sacrificed time for all these years. Finally, don't be strangers. I'll miss y'all. Let us know how you feel. We have public forum. And remember, you have up to 3 minutes. Thank you.
Councilmember Helsley?
Well, since I was the new kid and I came in, I love them all because they pretty much saved my bacon a lot. Seriously, I appreciate all the training. I abused everybody, and I probably abused this guy more than any. But I meddle in everybody's district because I'm an at-large rep and I get to do that. And so, nobody really yells at me, so that's great. But I am very grateful to all of y'all, and hopefully y'all won't be strangers to us because we still need you. Just saying. Thank you.
I forgot one quick comment earlier. The council staff, Will, Savannah, Angela, you've been, a great surprise of friendship and also of resource and work and lots of unsaid bless your hearts to questions and things you've already told at least me 45,000 times. So you've been patient and kind and resourceful, and the city's lucky to have you. So thank you all for what you do.
And will the city council staff tell the nicknames to us privately of all of the other people on council? Because I already know mine because it's on my card. I mean, I knew it already, but maybe privately tell us. Thank you.
Councilmember Singh?
Just you, Debbie.
I was just going to say.
You're the only one with a nickname. Yeah.
I was just saying that I hate long goodbyes, and all day, well, actually all week, month has felt like the longest goodbye ever. So, bye. I'm out of here.
Will gave me this. Will gave me this mic. I don't know that we need this mic, but this is like, Debbie can be Vanna. She's blonde. So come on. So you can't leave without a parting gift. And thank you. The first one goes to Tommy Smith. So what this is look, let's be honest. All of you who've been on council know that not one council member had a hand in getting this done. That would be the staff that took care of us and did the usual parting gift, which is a proclamation or a certificate along with your apparently duplicate nameplate.
Old nameplate.
Okay, there you go. So there, Tommy, you came to me. We didn't have to bring it. Yeah. Okay, I've been suggested that I move to the center. So Debbie, come on. And then you can shuffle. And Savannah, you come too. Anybody else want to come? We just have a little party. So Next is another vice mayor, Andrew Roberto, who is my district rep. And so you come out here at some point. So Will wants you out here.
Why don't you
So
come up
eventually
there and,
we're going to have
we can
to
grab
have
some
pictures.
photos of
Yeah,
you
we're going to.
holding
I
your-
feel a photo coming on. Next, who did you unwrap next? Oh,
By district.
Seema, you're next. Well, you should have told me.
I didn't know.
Okay, so Seema.
Happy chaos.
Well, you're supposed to come get it from us and stay up here. So apparently we're in order. Okay, that means Lauren, you're next. You're the 4th district rep. You're 4. Not alphabetical district. Thank you. Tommy, Charlie, you want to come on up here? No, I know, but I just thought you might want to come on up. And we have the love and Amelia too. All right, well, I'll remedy that for you. And then Gwen, our other 3rd vice mayor in this class. Come on. So, Charlie and Amelia, y'all come up here. We'll get a picture of just them and then all of us, all of council. And then mayor and all the other people that want to jump in, but no, not us yet.
I'm not in. I'm just being Vanna.
I know, but we're moving out of the way.
Unless there are any objections, this meeting is adjourned.